Event, Sports Grid Radio, Sirius XM, Channel 159.
This is Bob Kendrick, president of the Negro Leagues Baseball Museum and host of the Sirius XM original podcast, Black Diamonds. Hear stories about the legends of the Negro Leagues and conversations with the all-time greats they've influenced, like five-time World Series champion Derek Jeter.
I don't care what race you are. You need to know your past. This is U.S. history. It's not just baseball history.
Hear over 70 episodes of the award-winning Black Diamonds podcast, available now on the Sirius XM app or wherever you get your podcasts.
The final major championship of 2024 is coming, and you can hear all the action on Sirius XM.
Up toward the hole, has a chance, and it goes! Rory McIlroy with an overhand fist bump!
Coverage of the 152nd Open Championship begins Monday, July 15th, with play-by-play beginning Thursday, July 18th on Open Radio.
He's holding the big one! Brian Harman is the champion golfer of the year!
Hear the 2024 Open Championship on Channel 92 when you're in the car and on the Sirius XM app.
This slams a ball to right field, way back, way gone! Is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Low rounding and heading for second, the throw! In time!
On the Sportsnet Radio Network.
The first trip of the year to baseball's oldest ballpark. The Blue Jays land at Fenway Park today to start a three-game set with the Red Sox. Surrounded by history, Toronto tries to shrug off recent struggles. Hi, everyone. Thanks so much for tuning in tonight. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. Roger Lajoie is our host, Nick Blackmore, our producer, and Tom Young is our technical director. Toronto Blue Jays baseball is brought to you by the local family-owned Crown Rust Control Centers in Comber and Stony Creek. Protect your vehicle from rust today. Find your local family-owned Crown at crown.com. Canada's #1 rust protection. It's a pitching matchup rematch from last Tuesday as Chris Bassitt faces Tanner Houck. That day, Bassitt went deeper and gave up fewer runs than his counterpart, but Boston scored late to steal away a win. Toronto tries to correct that tonight and snap a 6-game losing streak next. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, streaming on Sportsnet.ca, the Sportsnet app, and across the Sportsnet Radio Network.
When Blue Jays starter Kevin Gausman is on the mound, you hear a lot of pops at Rogers Center. The pop of the ball hitting the catcher's mitt. The pop of the crowd as they cheer on another Gausman strikeout. But most importantly for Goss, the pop of his bubble gum.
Swing and a miss. Got him on the splitter again. One of the best at his craft.
Gausman loves his gum. So be one of the first 15,000 fans on Wednesday, July 3rd and get your Kevin Gausman bubblegum bobblehead. Get your tickets at BlueJays.com.
At Crown Rust Control Center, protection runs deep because every Crown Rust Control Center is owned by a local family who cares beyond business. Your Crown Rust Control Center is 100% committed to their product, to you, to their community, which is your community. Protecting you and what matters to you is equally important as protecting your vehicle. Did you know your vehicle rusts faster in warm weather? Protect your vehicle today. For a special summer offer, find your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center at crown.com.
Not tomorrow, not someday. The home improvements begin today. It's game on with Timber Mart. Build that deck, raise that fence, landscape till your property is beautiful. Don't pay for 12 months on the Timber Mart Deferred Payment Program. Your locally owned, completely Canadian hub of building and renovation expertise. Get your Timber Mart credit card at participating locations and pay later. 12 months later. Conditions apply. Ask in store for details or apply at timbermart.ca.
Dreams will be made
with the first pick
as a new generation of stars enters the NBA.
That guy is going to be a star in this league.
It's the 2024 NBA Draft, and our experts are getting you ready all week long on NBA Radio.
Bronny James out of USC. What is it like to play the game of basketball when your father is one of the all-time greats?
It's tough.
Then hear live coverage from Barclays Center starting Wednesday at 4 p.m. Eastern, followed by every pick starting at 8 p.m. Only on NBA Radio Channel 86 and on the all-new SiriusXM app.
Hi, this is Ray Hudson, and for all the biggest matches from club soccer's holy grail, the UEFA Champions League, tune in to SiriusXM FC 157.
Don't. I said it before the game, we signed up for this, and it's going to be hard. These guys get it, they understand that it's another tough series in Boston. You got to keep going, you got to keep going, and these guys are doing it. Again, my tone would be different if it was for lack of effort or lack of prep or anything. It's a tough stretch. But to see the guys go out there, you throw a rain delay in there, and they're ready to go. You keep on moving. You gotta try to attack tomorrow for tomorrow, and put the last 3 here behind you. It sounds easy to say. It's tough to do, but again, man, these guys they're working at it, and I'm proud of the way they're fighting through this tough time.
Blue Jay. That was John Schneider talking yesterday about the team trying to fight through this recent rough patch. The Blue Jays about to start a series in Boston. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. And Chris, the Blue Jays want to get things going in the right direction, having lost 6 in a row, but it is a tough team. It's the Red Sox who this losing streak started against that Toronto will have to try and snap out of it against.
Yeah, the Boston Red Sox are 6.5 games ahead of the Toronto Blue Jays. This is a huge series for the Blue Jays. This might be the biggest series of the year. If they get swept again, let's say, they'll be 9.5 back of the Boston Red Sox. And at that point, I think that you can start thinking about the trade deadline and what you're going to do before the trade deadline and who's going to fetch the most amount of prospects, the returns, all those things. But you start with game one, you see how game one goes, and then you go from there. But this is a huge series for this series and this team going forward.
Blue Jays and Red Sox will start this series in just about 5 minutes. But to bridge you there, let's go back to baseball control with today's host, Roger Lajoie.
And Ben, thank you very much. I'm in for Show Ali. I'm Roger Lajoie. Great to be with you tonight. The NBA title, the Larry O'Brien Trophy, in the house at Fenway Park tonight as the Celtics celebrate their recent triumph as well before the Blue Jays take on the Red Sox tonight. As Chris said, desperate times for the Blue Jays, losers of 6 in a row, 7 games under 500, 6.5 back. Man, they got some work to do. But one guy knows all about Fenway Park. And before we get to the Bet365 standings, one guy has had great success at Fenway Park, and he's hoping for it again tonight because he sure had some great success last year. That's Davis Schneider.
Being back here kind of conjure up anything for you from last year?
It feels a lot different. I'm a lot less nervous now. But it's just a cool place to even play. And, to be honest, I didn't really think about last year too often, but coming back here, and it kind of brings back pretty good memories just with my family and everyone that was involved. But, it's just a fun ballpark all the way around.
Do you remember kind of the emotions of that series at all, and kind of what was going through your head as that was all playing out?
I was definitely a really good baseball player at the time, but just a whirlwind of emotions up and down. From definitely wasn't sad, but it was just a cool experience. For all my family just to be here, because it's close enough to Jersey where everyone can kind of come see me. But I'm grateful just to be back here.
And the Blue Jays grateful to get another big performance from him and the rest of the lineup to try to snap this losing streak tonight. All right, time now for the Bet365 standings. At Bet365, you can watch thousands of live games, build your own bet, and can even make a bet while the game's still being played. 19 plus, play responsibly. Ontario only. The standings do not look good for the Blue Jays as they head into tonight's game. That's an understatement. New York Yankees lead the American League East by 1.5 games over the Baltimore Orioles. The Yankees on pace for 104 wins this season, but the Orioles hanging in there, like I said, just 1.5 games back and equal in the loss column. The Red Sox 42-36. They're 9 games back. Tampa Bay 38-40. They trail by 13. And the Blue Jays last in the division on that 6-game losing streak, 35-42, 15.5 games back. In the wild card, as Chris said, a tough road ahead for the Blue Jays as well. The Red Sox currently hold the last wild card, the last wild card spot at 42-36, 6.5 ahead of the Blue Jays. But the problem now is Kansas City, Houston, Tampa Bay, Texas, and Detroit are also all ahead of the Blue Jays. Kansas City just 0.5 game back of Boston. Houston now within 4 of a wild card at 38-40, as is Tampa Bay. Texas 4.5 back. Detroit and the Blue Jays follow. Can the Blue Jays close it in tonight? We'll find out tonight. Let's go to the broadcast now with Mr. Schulman and Mr. LaRue.
Thank you very much, Mr. Lajoie. The Blue Jays and the Red Sox about to get started. And John Schneider's team will hit first. Their lineup today has Isaiah Kiner-Falefa leading off, playing short. Spencer Horwitz, the second baseman, bats second. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. plays first and hits third. The DH and cleanup hitter, Justin Turner. In right, batting fifth, George Springer. Right behind him, the third baseman, Addison Barger. Davis Schneider plays left field and hits seventh. Alejandro Kirk, the backstop, batting eighth. And in center field, Kevin Kiermaier hitting ninth. Chris Bassitt will get the start for the Blue Jays against Alex Cora's lineup that leads off the center fielder Jaron Duran. David Hamilton, the second baseman, hits second. Right fielder Wilyer Abreu hits third. Third baseman Rafael Devers bats fourth. The left fielder Tyler O'Neill hitting fifth. The DH and number 6 hitter is Masataka Yoshida. First baseman and number 7 hitter Dominic Smith. The catcher Reese McGuire hits eighth. And at shortstop, batting ninth, rookie Cedon Rafaela. On the mound, one of, if not the best starter this year in the American League, pitches for the Red Sox. Tanner Houck brings his 7-5 record and his 2.14 earned run average and American League leading ERA into this ballgame.
Yeah, in his last 7 games, he has a 2.03 ERA. I know that's not much lower than 2.14, but it's definitely even better. And he's a guy that leads with his slider, so you get the rare starting pitcher that'll lead with an off-speed pitch. He's got that low 3/4 arm slot. He has a split finger. He has a sinker. He has a cutter that he rarely uses, but it's still effective. I mean, there's a reason why he has a 2.14 ERA, and he has very, very good stuff. The Blue Jays sort of got to him in his last start, but make no mistake, this is a tough pitcher going up against the Blue Jays today.
Pitched in Toronto last Tuesday, went 5 2/3, 3 runs allowed, 2 earned, 2 walks, and 5 strikeouts. And if you can put up 3 runs against Houck, you probably had a pretty good day. He doesn't allow that very often, but the Blue Jays will try to do more than that this time as they ended up losing that game 4-3. 6'5" right-hander is loosening up right now ahead of the first inning, which is brought to you by Armstrong Bird Food. Bring nature to your backyard with Armstrong, feeding Blue Jays since 1986. Visit ArmstrongBirdFood.com. 6'5" righty walking up the hill. Got a mustache and a thin but long beard coming off of his chin. He steps onto the first base side of the rubber. IKF in the box and Houck into the wide. Here's the first pitch of the day. Called strike one. Time of the pitch is 7:11 Eastern. Cloudy day, but 26 degrees Celsius, 78 Fahrenheit in Boston. 0-1. Called strike on the inside edge, 0-2.
You know what I love most about coming to work with you is your facial hair descriptions.
Trying my best. 0-2. Way inside, almost hit IKF. Well, it's a new look from last year for Kiner-Falefa as he's gotten to grow the beard out this year, and it's worked well for him, hitting .279, having a career offensive season. He swings and misses at a sharp 1-2 slider and goes down for the first out of the game.
And there's that slider that he throws so often. 2 very, very good sinkers on the inside part of the plate, 94, 95, and then he comes back with that sharp slider. IKF way out in front of it.
So 1 out quickly here for Houck, who now pitches to Spencer Horwitz. And Horwitz bounces a sinker foul, or pardon me, a splitter at 91. That's about as hard as you're going to see him throw the splitter today, 0-1. 14th game of the season for Horwitz, 29th career in the majors, 0-1. Great backdoor slider, 0-2. Horwitz doubled off Houck in the first inning of the game in Toronto. He'll take an 0-2 splitter low.
I know he had 2 home runs yesterday. He had that great play in the field, but the most impressive thing to me was that at-bat against Clase in the 9th inning.
That was a heck of an at-bat from Horwitz. Bounced foul, still 1-2. He went 12 pitches against Emmanuel Clase in the 9th inning with the Blue Jays down 1. Most of those were foul balls and ended up earning a walk. 1-2 pitch is hit in the air, left field, going back to the wall, O'Neill, and he has room on the track, makes the catch, 2 down. Those 12 pitches, though, were the most Clase has thrown in one plate appearance to anyone in his entire Major League career.
Well, that just goes to show you what kind of hitter he really is. He's just such a pro, has such a good eye, so much patience up there. And Tyler O'Neill, I think, faked us out right there. I thought that was a bomb, but he caught it up against that green monster.
First pitch to Vladimir Guerrero Jr., a slider for strike 1. 2 outs, top of the first, no score and nobody on. Blue Jays and Red Sox. 0-1. Swing and a miss, had a slider down and away. Vladdy nodding his head. It's 0-2. Red Sox in their home white uniforms. Red font. Blue Jays in the baby blues. Houck waves off a sign. Now he's got what he wants. 0-2. Fouled off the hand of Vlad's former teammate, Reese McGuire. It bounces out of the glove.
So nasty. That's 96 with good sink, down and in. Vlad just got a piece of that pitch.
He's another guy coming off a pretty good day. Guerrero hit a 2-run homer and had a single and another run scored in yesterday's game. Went 2 for 5. 0-2 again. Inside.
I think Spencer Horowitz's day overshadowed Vlad's day. Vlad had a great day.
Yeah. Hard to not have Horwitz be the star for the Blue Jays, though, with his 2 home runs. 1-2. Chopped over the mound, or actually speared on the mound by Houck, who lobs it to first and ends the inning. Blue Jays set down 1-2-3. No score, middle of the first. Chris Bassitt on the mound next. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Hi, I'm Buck Martinez, live from the showdown between pizza and inflation. First to the plate, with over 2 million sold, it's Fixed Rate Pizza, a hot and fresh extra-large 4-topping pizza for a fixed price of $17.99 until the end of 2024. Here's the delivery. And inflation strikes out. That's a swing and a drive for Fixed Rate Pizza. Lock in yours today.
Order pizza.ca.
Bring it in, Canada. When it comes to small business, Desjardins is a big fan. And not just the hop on the bandwagon fan. We're the in it for the long haul fan. The fan that's been there from the start. That's why Desjardins awarded 150 entrepreneurs with Good Spark grants worth $20,000 each. Because like any fan, there's nothing we love more than celebrating a goal!
See how Desjardins is cheering on small business at goodsparkgrants.ca.
At Bet365, we don't do ordinary. That's why we introduced in-game betting. Because when the game starts, the action doesn't stop. With in-game betting, you can wager on game props, player props, totals, and the money line. And remember, in-game, you can track your same-day parlay with the option to cash out. Check out in-game betting and find out why. It's never ordinary at Bet365.
Must be 19 years or older. Ontario only. Please play responsibly. If you or someone you know has concerns about gambling, visit connexontario.ca.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Sprinting back, Varsho curling at the track. He leaps, and he made the catch!
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Bottom of the first inning in Boston. No score, Blue Jays and Red Sox. Chris Bassitt takes the mound for Toronto. Appreciate you tuning in to this Monday night game. Bassitt making his 16th start of the year, 6-6 with an ERA just above 3.5. Righty winds and delivers the first pitch of the bottom of the first. It's a called strike. He gets ahead of Jarren Duran, 0-1. Center fielder Duran bats from the left side. One of 7 left-handed hitters Chris Bassitt will face today. 0-1. Curveball fouled off. Hit Alejandro Kirk and rolled away to the left. 0-2.
Jarren Duran has 20 stolen bases this season. David Hamilton has 21. 41 bags in the first 2 batters. There's a ton of speed at the top of this lineup.
It's a non-traditional Red Sox team. Typically a team known more for thump than speed. They certainly still have power, but a lot of athleticism. 0-2. Hit well. Right field on a line. Springer going back, and he'll make the catch in front of the track. 1 out. Welcome to the Timber Mart broadcast booth. I'm Ben Schulman. To my left is Chris LaRue. That's maybe a cutter that Chris Bassitt got away with a little bit.
Oh, that was just a spinner right over the middle. Duran just missed it. Almost squared it up too much. He gets underneath that thing a little bit. That is 30 rows back.
And he hit it to that uniquely deep part of right field at Fenway Park. Here's David Hamilton, the aforementioned speed demon, second baseman for the Red Sox. Chris Bassitt's going to get a new baseball before his first pitch. Goes to the pitch comm on his right hip and now steps onto the rubber. And he's ready to go. First pitch. Hamilton takes outside. Fenway Park, built in 1912. Had some major renovations in the 30s, but largely untouched since. He's very short to the foul pole in right, 302 at Pesque Pole, but there's almost a second right field corner where it's 380. Next pitch to Hamilton at the knees, strike one. You go to dead center field, there's that famous triangle that's 420 feet at its steepest part, 379 to left center, just 310 to the monster and the left field foul pole. 1-1. Swing and a miss, 1-2.
Yeah, if you think about all the older stadiums in baseball, Dodger Stadium, Wrigley, they've all been renovated somewhat. Fenway is one of the last remaining ones that really makes you feel like you're in the 40s, 50s, 60s.
1-2 pitch, hit foul, a high cutter. I mean, you sit in the seats at Fenway, it's not that comfortable. You don't have a lot of leg room. There are some seats where there's going to be a huge steel beam in front of you. But it is pretty cool.
Yeah. Worth every penny. If you've never been, you have to get there at some point.
1-2 pitch. Swing and a bouncing ball right side. Backhanded by Spencer Horwitz at second. He throws to first. And there are two quick outs.
What do you think of Horwitz at second base? You think he's looking pretty comfortable?
It looks pretty good. You know, I don't know that he's going to be the fastest second baseman in baseball going left to right. I think he certainly has the arm and the hands, though, to at least make the routine plays.
And that's the thing that I've been looking for. Does he look comfortable with the routine play? And so far he has.
Made a great play in yesterday's game, diving to his right. First pitch to Wilyer Abreu. Misses outside, 1-0. Abreu recently activated by the Red Sox. Came back off the injured list on the 22nd from an ankle sprain. Was out since June 2nd. 1-0. Swing and a miss. Just beats the left-handed hitter with a sinker down the middle. Home plate up, by the way, tonight is Paul Clemens, David Rackley at first, Chad Fairchild, the crew chief, at second, and Ryan Wills at third. 1-1. Swing and a miss. Slowed it down with the splitter and had Abreu out in front. Now it's 1-2.
I think that'll be a big pitch tonight. That splitter, if you can throw it down in the zone. That one was a little bit elevated. But if you can throw it down in the zone, it's going to be a very effective pitch against this Red Sox lineup.
Is it because of all the lefties, too, that you like that pitch
specifically against Abreu, against Devers, just the big bopping lefties, you have to slow it down, make it something look like arm speed, look like a fastball, and that's the split and the changeup.
1-2. Breaking ball hit foul through the curveball below the knees, and Abreu pulled it down the right field line on the ground.
And I've said this before, but that big breaking curveball that he has, the sweeper slider that he has, good hitters, specifically left-handed hitters, can see a little bit of a hump. They can see that pitch and wait on it. A changeup, a split finger, they can't tell that it's something off speed.
Bassitt's next pitch. High cutter, hit the spot he wanted, but Abreu lays off.
He's starting to fall in love with that elevated cutter.
Throws it up top to both lefties and righties. Abreu, a third left-handed hitter in a row. 2-2. Swing and a fly ball center field. Backing up Kiermaier just in front of the track. Makes a two-handed catch and ends the inning. Bassitt sets down the Red Sox in order, and we are scoreless going to the second. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center. Streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Mark 30 years of one of rap's greatest albums. And go deep into the musical world of the notorious B.I.G. on a channel featuring all his legendary rhymes. and stories from those who knew him best. Whether it was party joints or songs about his life and times in Brooklyn, Notorious Radio throughout Black Music Month in the SiriusXM app. And for a limited time starting tomorrow on Channel 79.
Fantasy Sports Radio is helping you win your fantasy leagues right now on Channel 87.
Aaron Judge drills a 3-run home run.
From in-season fantasy baseball management to our all-time fantasy baseball draft to helping you prepare for your fantasy football drafts. Fantasy Sports Radio is here to help you dominate.
Don't ever take a player that you don't intend to keep all year. Don't do it. It's terrible management.
Fantasy Sports Radio, your home for fantasy sports. Channel 87 and on the all-new SiriusXM app. The Titans of Europe are gathered once again for the Euros.
Cristiano Ronaldo for Portugal.
Soccer's best, assembled to represent their nation.
Oh my word, from Kylian Mbappe. And it's another magnificent goal for France.
Trying to reach the pinnacle of European soccer.
Italy are champions of Europe.
Hear the top matches and expert analysis from Euro 2024 all month long on Fox Sports 83 and Sirius XM FC 157. Or listen anytime on the all-new Sirius XM app.
In season or out of season, the number one place for college sports is SiriusXM College Sports Radio, Channel 84.
Sportsnet Radio Network.
It's the second inning presented by Bet365. At Bet365, you can bet live in-game on game props, totals, and the money line. Download the app and find out why it's never ordinary at Bet365. 19+, play responsibly. Ontario only. A return to Fenway Park for Justin Turner, who takes strike one to start the top of the second inning. No score, Blue Jays and Red Sox. 0-1. Tanner Houck fits a slider in the bottom of the zone. 0-2. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. Turner, a Red Sox last season, faces an 0-2 and takes it below the knees.
And he's a guy that loved Fenway. Hit .276, 23 homers, 96 RBIs last season with the Red Sox.
96 RBIs, a career high for Turner. 1-2. Popped up foul. Back of the seats and out of play.
4 stolen bases, too.
Okay. You mentioned that yesterday Vlad probably overshadowed a bit by Spencer Horwitz. Turner probably as well, who reached 5 times in the game. 2 hits and 3 walks. He was not retired once. 1-2 pitch, called strike 3. 95-mile-per-hour sinker on the outside edge. 1 down.
Well, when you see a guy like Justin Turner take that fastball, that's a very hittable fastball. That was on the outside third of the plate, about knee high. That means that he's expecting something off speed. He's expecting that slider that he throws 42% of the time. He's expecting that split finger, but instead Tanner Houck just slips in that good fastball.
And he slips another into the bottom of the zone against George Springer to get ahead 0-1. No score, top of 2, bases empty. The wind and the pitch. Houck misses inside, 1-1. Righty was the 24th overall pick by the Red Sox in 2017 out of the University of Missouri. His 1-1. Bounce to the left side, fielded by Devers. He throws over to first, and there are 2 outs.
I also know you want to talk about the Boston Celtics being at Fenway tonight.
I guess I do. 18 titles. How special is this one?
Well, you're a basketball guy.
I do. I know. I like basketball. They had the entire Celtics team pretty cool before the game, including, front office members, coaches. They all threw out first pitches, I believe. First pitch to Addison Barger is chopped over the mound, charging in from second. Hamilton gloves, throws to first, and a diving stretch by Dominic Smith keeps his foot on the bag and ends the inning. Blue Jays down in order, 1-2-3, 6 up, 6 down for Houck. Scoreless ball game, middle of the second. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Not tomorrow, not someday. The home improvements begin today. It's game on with Timber Mart. Build that deck, raise that fence, landscape till your property is beautiful. Don't pay for 12 months on the Timber Mart deferred payment program. your locally owned, completely Canadian hub of building and renovation expertise. Get your Timber Mart credit card at participating locations and pay later. 12 months later. Conditions apply. Ask in store for details or apply at timbermart.ca.
At Crown Rust Control, protection runs deep because every Crown Rust Control Center is owned by a local family who cares beyond business. Your Crown Rust Control is 100% committed to their product, to you, to their community, which is your community. Protecting you and what matters to you is equally important as protecting your vehicle.
Did you know your vehicle rusts faster in warm weather? Protect your vehicle today. For a special summer offer, find your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center at crown.com.
Our core values: equality, respect, the pursuit of greatness. Through and through, this is who we are.
Be at the ballpark to experience a proud tradition. Canada Day, Monday, July 1st. The first 15,000 fans will receive a Blue Jays Canadian tuxedo hat giveaway. For tickets, visit BlueJays.com.
Proud to the core. Canadian to the core. Blue Jays to the core.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Runner going, throw down to second. They got him.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Home half of the second inning in Boston. No score. Blue Jays and Red Sox. Rafael Devers, Tyler O'Neill, and Masataka Yoshida to hit this inning for Boston. Chris Bassitt's first pitch cutter fouled back by the lefty slugger Devers. 0-1.
Good amount of Oilers jerseys at Fenway tonight. I don't know what you're doing at Fenway. I don't want to watch Game 7 of the Stanley Cup on my phone if you're an Oilers fan.
Yeah, that is a wild combo. Here's the 0-1. Called strike. I guess maybe, you're planning out your Blue Jays season a while in advance. You get tickets at Fenway. Oh, my goodness. The Oilers are down 3-0. It's not going to matter anyway. All of a sudden, Game 7 tonight on Sportsnet and CBC. 0-2. Breaking ball down low. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Let's go for a hypothetical. If the Leafs were in Game 7 of the Stanley Cup and you had the best tickets at Fenway, and you are not a broadcaster.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not
What
going.
would you do?
I'm not going.
Yeah.
I'm definitely staying back. The 1-2. Swing and a foul ball. Devers somehow hits a pitch that almost would have hit his back ankle, and he lined it into the seats down the right field line.
Yeah, that was almost a comical swing. Devers with a little smirk on his face. Looked like a little chip from about 100 yards away.
Alex Cora even making it a golf motion from the first base dugout. 1-2 again. High cutter. Devers lays off. Thanks for spending your Monday night with us. Perhaps getting ready for Oilers-Panthers coming up. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. Chris Bassitt got all 3 batters he faced in the first. Righties 2-2. Hit on the ground to second, right at Horwitz. Picks it up, throws to first. And there's 1 out.
That was a good sinker right there from Chris Bassitt down in the zone. You could actually hear Devers' bat break. He's kind of looking back at Chris Bassitt, wondering where he got that movement from. But that was a good sinker, especially to a tough lefty.
They're at 94, too. That's going to be one of the sharper fastballs you'll see from Bassitt all day. So 1 out, and the Canadian Tyler O'Neill is up. Homered 3 times in the series in Toronto last week. First pitch is inside, 1-0. O'Neill, the home run leader for the Red Sox, despite missing some time this year. 15 homers in 54 games. Right on right, the 1-0. Swing and a hot shot grounder, foul. Barger dove at third, but it was wide of the bag, 1-1. There's some guys you look at, like a Mookie Betts, and you're like, hey, where does all that power come from?
I know where you're going with
Tyler
this.
O'Neill's not one of those guys.
And what's funny? I've played with Tyler since he was 18, just drafted on various national teams. He is a Team Canada staple.
0-1 pitch is chopped in fair territory to third. Bobbled by Barger. Fires a strike to first. An absolute laser for the second out.
That was a seed across the diamond.
Yeah.
But Tyler O'Neill has always looked like that. Even just out of high school, he was jacked. Always. Minus the tattoos, he looked the exact same. His body hasn't changed since I met him when he was 17 or 18.
Well, so he is the son of Terry O'Neill, who was Mr. Canada, which is a bodybuilding competition, in 1975. First pitch to Masataka Yoshida, called strike one with 2 outs and the bases empty. And there's a great profile when O'Neill gets drafted by Bob Elliott and the Toronto Sun in 2013. And Terry almost like frustratingly says, I really had to work for my muscles. Tyler walks into a gym, looks at weights, and he gets bigger somehow. Here's the 0-1. Called strike nothing and 2. And you mentioned O'Neill being a staple, played for Canada in the 2023 World Baseball Classic, the most recent one. Played obviously when he was younger as well.
Well, now he can't play on all the in the tournaments and the World Cups because he's in the big leagues. I guess the only one he can play with now is the World Baseball Classic team.
But still showed up despite it being, pretty pivotal points in his career. He's going to be a free agent next year. 0-2. Bounce the sinker, 1 ball and 2 strikes. Two outs and the base is empty. No score. Bottom of the second. Bassitt going to his right hip. Kirk responding from his right knee. Bassitt again to the right hip. And they've got the pitch they want. Kirk sets up down and away. 1-2. Swing and a foul ball. That one out of play. Kirk ended up moving up and away, but the pitch actually kind of ran middle in.
Yeah, that was actually a good location. Even though he missed his spot, Kirk was set up. That still ran in on the hands of the lefty there.
Was a cutter that Bassitt threw. Trying to get Yoshida here, who's batting .228 on the year. 1-2 again. Swing and a fly ball out to center, playable for Kiermaier. He reaches up and makes a one-handed catch to end the inning. Bassitt and Houck going tit for tat. They have both gone 6 up, 6 down so far. We go to the third in a scoreless ball game. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
We're 2 men in a truck, the movers who care. You never know when cardiac arrest can happen. That's why each and every one of our trucks carries a life-saving Mikey defibrillator as part of our Mikey on Board program. Whether we're on the highway or in front of your house, we're prepared to help anyone whose heart may skip a beat. The Mikey Network has saved many lives, making Mikeys accessible to the public. And now they're on board our trucks. We're 2 men in a truck.
2 men and a truck, the movers who care.
So Blue Jays fans, you want to know about salsa? Salsa is more than dancing. It's more than music. Salsa is the passion and spirit that is at the core of the beautiful cultures of Latin America. The Blue Jays are bringing salsa to the ballpark on June 27th. Be one of the first 15,000 fans in attendance and receive a Blue Jays chip and dip bowl. Celebrate salsa and create core memories with your Blue Jays. It's salsa night. For tickets, visit BlueJays.com. Right, Vladdy?
Everybody salsa. At Bet365, we don't do ordinary. That's why we introduced in-game betting. Because when the game starts, the action doesn't stop. With in-game betting, you can wager on game props, player props, totals, and the money line. And remember, in-game, you can track your same-day parlay with the option to cash out. Check out in-game betting and find out why. It's never ordinary at Bet365.
Must be 19 years or older. Ontario only. Please play responsibly. If you or someone you know has concerns about gambling, visit connexontario.ca.
Hey, this is Danny Jansen. You're listening to Toronto Blue Jays Baseball on the Sportsnet Radio Network.
The third inning is brought to you by the local family-owned Crown Rust Control Centers in Comber and Stony Creek. Protect your vehicle from rust today. Find your local family-owned Crown at crown.com, Canada's #1 rust protection. Davis Schneider swings and fouls off the first pitch in the top of the third. No score, Blue Jays and Red Sox. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. 0-1. Schneider swings and hits it on the ground. Foul. 0-2. A return to where it all started for Davis Schneider. Debuted last year in early August at Fenway Park. Notably homered in his first at-bat and went 9 for 13 in that Fenway Park series, hitting 3 home runs. 0-2 pitch, down and away. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Blue Jays could certainly use a little bit of that magic this week.
Slightly different matchup, James Paxton versus Tanner Houck. No offense to Paxton. 1-2. Swing and a fly ball, left field. O'Neill back on the track. He's got room, makes the catch.
He keeps faking us out. I don't know what he's doing out there, but that's 2 in a row. 2 fly balls in a row that he made it seem like they were either off the wall or over the green monster, but that one he just catches pretty easily in front of that monster.
Maybe extra cautious, still relatively new to playing in that unique left field. So 1 out. Here's Alejandro Kirk. Front door slider, strike 1. Jays Cares Split the Pot raffle is already over $940,000 with 2 weeks still until the grand prize draw. 0-1. Swing and a miss, nothing in 2. Each of the 10 winners are guaranteed to walk away with at least 6 figures of tax-free winnings. Visit bluejays.com/5050 to get tickets from Ontario or Nova Scotia. Houck was about to go on the 0-2. Kirk asked for time and a late time granted by Paul Clemens. Kirk will adjust his red batting gloves before stepping back in. Now the 0-2. Hit on the ground up the middle. Sliding stop. Rafaela pops up, bounces to first. Backhanded pick, chin high by Dominic Smith from a knee. Good play on both sides. Kirk retired for the second out.
Yeah, Tanner Houck appreciates that on both ends. Both of his arms were out, pointing at the first baseman and the shortstop. That's an incredible play by everybody.
Yeah, great play by Rafaela to dive up the middle, or kind of half slide, half dive. Probably a tougher pick than a lot of people would realize, too, for Dominic Smith.
It was that in-between pick. Not too long, not that short hop, but that in-between one that really handcuffs a lot of first basemen.
Kevin Kiermaier, the 9-hitter, takes outside. 1-0 with 2 outs and the base is empty. Swing and a miss now on a splitter. 1-1. Kiermaier making his 3rd start in a row. Dalton Varsho on the bench. 1-1. Down and away. Batters in this game struggling both ways. A combined 0 for 14 to start the game. No base runners yet. 2-1 pitch. A beautiful backdoor slider for called strike 2.
That is absolutely disgusting. Starting way off the plate and then just making a sharp left turn. Breaking back almost over the middle of the plate.
2-2 sliders, same pitch, cut on and missed. Strike 3. 3 strikeouts in 3 scoreless, hitless, walkless innings for Tanner Houck. No score, middle of the 3rd. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Dreams will be made
with the first pick
as a new generation of stars enters the NBA.
That guy is going to be a star in this league.
It's the 2024 NBA Draft, and our experts are getting you ready all week long on NBA Radio.
Bronny James out of USC. What is it like to play the game of basketball when your father is one of the all-time greats? It's tough.
Then hear live coverage from Barclays Center starting Wednesday at 4 p.m. Eastern, followed by every pick starting at 8 p.m. only on NBA Radio Channel 86 and on the all-new SiriusXM app.
24/7, 365 coverage of all things NASCAR. All things NASCAR happens exclusively on SiriusXM NASCAR Radio, Channel 90.
Are you regretting eating that gas station hot dog? Yeah, we know. We've been there too. This is a message for baseball fans like you. Did you know that you get a channel that's talking baseball 24/7 as part of your SiriusXM subscription?
What?
Our lineup includes shows hosted by former big leaguers and executives. Plus, you'll hear from 17 managers each week. MLB Network Radio is on SiriusXM Channel 89, or just search MLB Network Radio on the SXM app. SiriusXM Sports. We're more than just a game.
Hey everyone, it's Brian Geltzeiler from SiriusXM NBA Radio. The NBA Draft begins on June 26th, and we're your home for all the action. Hear non-stop coverage on all our shows.
Mark it down. That guy is going to be a star in this league.
Exclusive interviews.
We are now joined by Bronny James.
I just found happiness in what I'm doing right now, and I feel like that's where I want myself to be at.
And every pick on the big night.
With the first pick.
Your home for the 2024 Draft is NBA Radio, Channel 86, and the all-new SiriusXM app. Just search NBA Radio.
Sportsnet Radio Network.
Welcome to the Timber Mart broadcast booth, encouraging you to step up for the home team and shop local. Timber Mart stores are family-owned and operated and know the value in giving back to the communities they serve. Now more than ever, it's important to shop local. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. A swing and a miss by Dominic Smith to start the bottom of the third. Chris Bassitt on the rubber for the Blue Jays. Here's his right-on-left pitch. Hit in the air, left field. Slicing toward foul territory and into the seats. 0-2. Seven, 8, 9 will come up for Boston this inning. Dominic Smith, Reese McGuire, and Cedon Rafaela. Slightly open stance for Smith. Holds his hands out from his chest. The 0-2. Hop it in with a hard sinker.
That was a good pitch right there from Chris Bassitt. Alejandro Kirk had that target up near the hands of Dominic Smith, and he almost hit that target perfectly. I wouldn't be surprised if he throws something soft away here.
Bassitt nods and takes a breath. Into the wind, his 1-2. Actually doubled up on that sinker.
Or something hard up and in.
Yeah. Well, every time you think you know what Bassitt's going to do, he tries to do something that's the opposite.
Yeah, it'll drive you crazy if you try to go along with what he's thinking.
I mean, there are times this year he pitches to the scouting reports that the batters want, basically, as the 2-2 pitch misses high, 3-2. An example to explain, Aaron Judge early this year was struggling against breaking balls in the first month. Everyone's throwing him breaking balls. He's hitting fastballs. So Bassitt was feeding him fastballs because he figures Judge has looked at the scouting reports and is expecting breaking balls, and he struck him out looking at Yankee Stadium on a fastball almost right down the middle. 3-2 to Smith. Inside ball 4 after getting ahead 0-2, a leadoff walk, and that's the first base runner either side. Smith on to lead off the bottom of the third.
Do you think that's a little bit of overthinking?
Sometimes yes and sometimes no, because it's, I don't know how you feel, but with the way Bassitt pitches, it feels like he almost has to overthink a little bit.
It is tiring.
It's tiring for everyone.
It's tiring trying to guess what he's going to pitch. At least I'm sure Alejandro Kirk, I'm sure Danny Jansen, they probably have a great game plan, but pitch to pitch, it's still that. I mean, we see it a lot. That's why Chris Bassitt calls a lot of his own pitches.
Bassitt with the walk issued now goes into the stretch and his pitch to Reese McGuire down the middle, strike 1. McGuire, a left-handed hitting catcher, has a red arm sleeve on his back left arm, nothing on the front right arm. Here's the 0-1. Low, 1 ball, 1 strike. For Reese McGuire, this is his 42nd game, a .222 hitter with 3 homers. It's actually his 3rd start in 4 games against the Blue Jays this year, despite Connor Wong being one of the best hitters on the Red Sox. 1-1 pitch, hit foul 1-2. Wong right now not with the team on the paternity list. Another former Blue Jay like McGuire, Tyler Heineman, is up right now with the Red Sox, serving as their other catcher. Runner on first, no outs. Bassitt set just above the belt. He kicks and delivers. And it's fouled back by McGuire, who reached up for a high sinker. Catcher asks for time, steps out of the box. Bassitt will discard the baseball and get a new one. Going to his right hip now to discuss with Alejandro Kirk what they want to do on this next pitch. Righty steps onto the first base side of the rubber, looks down, now peeks at the plate. The 1-2. Swing and a ground ball to second. Horwitz gets up with it, turns, throws to second 1. IKF to first, 4-6-3, double play.
That was a great sinker on the outside part of the plate. Reese McGuire pulls that front shoulder out and hits a hard ground ball to second base, but that's a big pitch right there.
We had talked about earlier the play of Spencer Horwitz at second. Looked very comfortable there. turning to second base and starting that double play.
So I've heard from numerous infielders specifically that are new to a certain position. This is
first pitch to Cedar Rafaela, cut on a miss, strike one.
This isn't specific to Spencer Horowitz's situation. This is just infielders that are trying out new positions. They say it's harder to make the routine play as a new infielder than it is to make that wild play like Spencer Horowitz made yesterday.
0-1 pitch hit him in the back. Cutter slips out of the hand of Bassitt, who walks up to the line to apologize to Rafaela and make sure he's okay. Obviously no intent there. And Rafaela's on first now with 2 outs.
Well, if you're going to hit somebody, that's the time to hit them. I know there was no intent, but that's the time right there. Nobody on base, 2 outs. All joking aside, that was not intentional.
Yeah. Bassitt was ahead in the count. Now the top of the order will come up. And they actually had Brad Pearson, head athletic trainer, go out to first base. He's talking right now with Rafaela. Alex Cora out there too. Just taking a second, and Rafaela appears to be okay. Vladdy rubbing his back a little bit. And now they're ready to go with Jarren Duran hitting for the second time. Duran probably had the best contact we've seen all day off of Chris Bassitt. Slammed a cutter to right field on a line, but it was caught by George Springer in the first. First pitch. Fouled back, 0-1. This is the first time really you start to think about the Red Sox running game. Dominic Smith was on first earlier, but he doesn't really steal bases. Rafaela on first has 10 stolen bases this year, although he's been caught 5 times.
Yeah, that just tells me that he's not the greatest base runner. Probably has a lot of speed.
0-1. High, 1-1. Rafaela played briefly last year, but is in his technically rookie season this year as well.
But 10 bags, it's pretty good for your number 9 hitter, especially when the first and second guys in your lineup have 41 combined.
1-1. Runner takes off, swing and a miss by Duran. Throw down to second, and Kirk nailed him. Got Rafaela by a mile, and that will do it for the bottom of the third. Red Sox are holding up play for just a second. They will not challenge. Alejandro Kirk throws out Cedar Rafaela to end a scoreless third. Still searching for our first run, Blue Jays and Red Sox, as we go to the fourth. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Dreams will be made
with the first pick
as a new generation of stars enters the NBA.
That guy is going to be a star in this league.
It's the 2024 NBA Draft, and our experts are getting you ready all week long on NBA Radio.
Bronny James out of USC. What is it like to play the game of basketball when your father is one of the all-time greats?
It's tough.
Then hear live coverage from Barclays Center starting Wednesday at 4 p.m. Eastern, followed by every pick starting at 8 p.m. only on NBA Radio Channel 86 and on the all-new SiriusXM app.
Every night after the final out, the Round Trip Roundup brings you the scores, highlights, and analysis from every game across Major League Baseball, all in less than 30 minutes.
Swung on and missed, strike 3 and a no-hitter.
It's the perfect way to get caught up on all the night's biggest home runs and best performances.
And a high drive, deep right center.
It's the Round Trip Roundup on MLB Network Radio every night on SiriusXM Channel 89 and every morning on the SiriusXM app.
Fantasy Sports Radio is helping you win your fantasy leagues. Right now on Channel 87.
Aaron Judge drills a 3-run home run.
From in-season fantasy baseball management to our all-time fantasy baseball draft to helping you prepare for your fantasy football drafts. Fantasy Sports Radio is here to help you dominate.
Don't ever take a player that you don't intend to keep all year. Don't do it. It's terrible management.
Fantasy Sports Radio, your home for fantasy sports. Channel 87 and on the all-new SiriusXM app.
Hey, baseball fans, the 2024 NBA Draft begins on June 26th, and NBA Radio is your home for all the action. Hear every pick on NBA Radio, Channel 86, and the all-new SiriusXM app.
It's the fourth inning presented by Bet365. Download the Bet365 app for today's baseball odds and find out why it's never ordinary at Bet365. 19-plus, play responsibly, Ontario only. First pitch of the fourth is lined up the middle by Isaiah Kiner-Falefa. A base hit for Toronto. First base hit for either side today. And a big clap by Kiner Falefa as the Blue Jays have their first base runner against Tanner Houck.
Yeah, that's a big base hit. It's very hard to string together base hits against Houck. So you can if you get the first guy of the inning on base, that's the most important thing. Now you can think about bunting him over, moving him over, stealing a bag, manufacturing something.
Big lead off first for Kiner Falefa. The pitch to Spencer Horwitz. Slide step and a splitter for strike one. More hit and runs are done with right-handed hitters, but Horwitz is a pretty high-contact guy if they wanted to put something on like that. 0-1 outside. Houck, though, twice in the stretch here has gone to slide steps.
Yeah, if I'm John Schneider, I'm just letting Spencer Horwitz swing away. He's shown me that he's good enough with the bat. There's a huge hole on the left side of that infield. He knows that. He'll find or at least try to find a hole somewhere.
1-1 pitch is chopped to the right side, fielded in fair territory. No, it's foul. Dom Smith was in fair territory, reached over the line, but it's not where your toes are. It's where the baseball is, and he grabbed the baseball that was in foul territory.
A little bit of a late call over there.
David Rackley at first. I mean, looking from, a second angle from the plate, definitely a foul ball.
Now I know why it took so long to make the call, just because he assumed everybody thought it was foul.
1-2. Outside. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. on deck. Horwitz today 0 for 1 with a fly out to left field. Houck with a breath. From the stretch, the pitch. Called strike 3. Slider that looked a little bit outside gets Horwitz for the first out of the inning.
That's a tough call right there. Horwitz with a good take. That ball actually ended up off the plate a little bit, but it was a slider, so he started off the plate even more. That's a bad call right there.
Tough break for Horwitz, who rarely strikes out, in part because of that great eye. Runner on first. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. up. Houck's pitch. Inside, ball 1. In a moment, we'll take a look at the out-of-town scoreboard. First, though, Guerrero 0 for 1 today. A .279 hitter, 9 homers. .1-0. Swing and a miss on a slider down and away, 1-1. Reese McGuire looked over at the runner at first, Isaiah Kiner Falefa, after that pitch. IKF has 3 stolen bases this season. The 1-1. Swing and a chopper. Takes Rafael, the shortstop, deep in the hole. Bouncing throw to first, late infield single for Vladimir Guerrero Jr., who hustled down the line for a second Blue Jays hit of the inning.
Well, Vlad did a good job hustling down the line, but that was an incredible play from Rafaela in the hole on the left side of that infield. I thought he had no chance at Vlad, but he makes a good throw, a one-hop throw to first base. And Vlad beats it by about a half step.
And a good job, too, by Kiner Falefa, because a lot of shortstops might have thought, my only play is second base there, but IKF hustled and got a good break, so there was never a play at second. Now 2 on for Justin Turner. Turner struck out looking on a sinker in the second. Only 1 out, no score, top of the 4th. The pitch. Called strike right on the bottom of the zone, outside corner, 0-1.
Yeah, Turner didn't like that call, kind of stiffened up his back a little bit, but that was definitely a strike. That was nasty.
It's about as perfect of a pitch as you're going to see. 0-1. Swing and a pop-up, back of the plate. McGuire gives it a look, but keeps the mask on. It's into the seats, 0-2. Sec, we'll take a look at the out-of-town scoreboard, brought to you by St. Louis Bar and Grill. Devilishly good since Toronto first raised the trophy in '92. Join them for wings, ribs, beer, cocktails, and catch every plate. Your local St. Louis Bar and Grill. Download the app or visit stlouiswings.com for more details. Always devilishly good. 2 on, 1 out. Houck looks at second and delivers home. Inside. Blue Jays trying to break the ice here in a scoreless game, top of the 4th. Over in Baltimore, the team Toronto just played, the Cleveland Guardians, starting a series with the Orioles, who just got swept by Houston.
Houston's quietly playing a little bit better.
1-2 pitch is hit foul on the ground. Yeah, they are starting to heat up, and it's kind of hard to ever count them out. Orioles, though, bouncing back fairly well. It's a 2-2 game against Cleveland in the top of the fifth on the St. Louis Bar and Grill out-of-town scoreboard. Of course, Jose Ramirez has already driven in a run today, and Bo Naylor doubled in one for Cleveland as well. But Ryan O'Hearn has an RBI single, and Anthony Santander with a sac fly. Again, 2 on, 1 out, and the 1-2 to Turner, down and away. Good take on the slider. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Right on right, the 2-2 pitch from Howe. Inside, ball 3, and this is turning into a pretty lengthy at-bat for Justin Turner. He's seen 6 pitches.
And this is a big pitch right here. He's taken some tough pitches. A couple off the plate, 1 inside.
Here's the payoff. Swing and a hot shot through the middle of base hit, rolling into left center field. Connor Falefa around third. He sprints home up to third base. Guerrero. It's an RBI single for Justin Turner, and the Blue Jays take the lead 1-0.
And like we've said so many times with Justin Turner, he sees so many pitches per at bat. That fights off a ton of tough pitches that he's bound to see a mistake at some point. And Houck throws that sinker on the inside part of the plate. A very hittable pitch. And Justin Turner just bounces it up the middle. And the Blue Jays are up 1-0.
Blue Jays did not have a base runner in the first 3 innings. They have 3 hits here in the 4th. Still a chance to add on. It's 1st and 3rd. 1 out, and George Springer coming up. First pitch he sees is bounced up the middle, fielded at second by Hamilton. Steps on the bag, throws to first. Inning ending double play. Toronto on the board. 3 hits produce 1 run, 1 left on. It's 1-0 Blue Jays. Middle of the 4th. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Hi, I'm Buck Martinez, live from the showdown between Pizza and inflation. First to the plate, Pizza's big hitter, fixed rate pizza. An extra large 4-topping pizza for a fixed price of $17.99 until the end of 2024. I dare say, folks, inflation stands no chance against this all-star. Here's the delivery. And inflation strikes out. That's a swing and a drive for fixed rate pizza. Lock in yours today.
Order pizza.ca.
We're 2menintruck.ca. We've got lots of men and lots of trucks, so get ready to be moved.
Think 2menintruck.ca. So when you gotta move, all moving day. Think 2menintruck.ca. Cause all of us movers are not the same. So that's our company name, 2menintruck.ca. We're lots of men with lots of trucks, so give us a call today.
At Bet365, we don't do ordinary. That's why we introduced in-game betting. Because when the game starts, the action doesn't stop. With in-game betting, you can wager on game props, player props, totals, and the money line. And remember, in-game, you can track your same-day parlay with the option to cash out. Check out in-game betting and find out why. It's never ordinary at Bet365.
Must be 19 years or older. Ontario only. Please play responsibly. If you or someone you know has concerns about gambling, visit connexontario.ca.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Kirk smacks it down the left field line. This one's got a chance. It's gone!
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Welcome to the Timber Mart broadcast booth. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. Roger Lajoie, our host today. Nick Blackmore, our producer. Tom Young, our technical director. 1-0 Blue Jays, bottom of the 4th. Top of the order for the Red Sox. The pitch to Jaron Durant. Chris Bassitt misses outside, 1-0. 3 hits for the Blue Jays in the 4th inning. A Justin Turner RBI single in the top of the 4th has Toronto in front. Now the 1-0. Duran hits it in the air, foul down the left field line.
And like I said during that inning, it's very hard to string together hits, and the Blue Jays did a good job of doing just that.
3 hits after no base runners in the first 3 innings. Red Sox have 2 base runners so far. A walk in the 3rd and then a hit batter in the 3rd, but Bassitt has faced the minimum. 1-1 pitch high, 2-1. He got a double play after the leadoff walk to Dominic Smith last inning. Then he hit Cedon Rafaela. But when Jarren Duran was up in the third, Alejandro Kirk threw out Rafaela trying to steal. The wind in the 2-1. Hit on the ground up the middle. That's the first base hit of the day for the Red Sox. Kevin Kiermaier goes down to a knee to field it in center field. Jarren Duran at first with a single.
Well, that was just a missed spot. Alejandro Kirk was set up almost on the black outside, and Chris Bassitt threw that ball right down the middle at the bottom of the strike zone, but still a very hittable pitch.
This is where the Red Sox get dangerous. You had mentioned a few times Jarren Duran, one of the better base stealers in the American League. He's got 20 stolen bases. He's been caught 3 times this year.
Yeah, that tells me that he not only has speed, but he's also a good base runner.
First pitch to David Hamilton is popped up to short. Kiner Falefa moves to his right, now drifts back left, backpedaling, makes the catch. 1 pitch and 1 out to Hamilton.
And now with 1 out, you can almost guarantee that Duran is going to try to take second base at some point during this at-bat.
This is the time you're going to do it rather than with Rafael Devers up. It's Wilyer Abreu hitting here with 1 out and a runner on first.
Well, they probably want to get him to second base with Devers at the plate.
Abreu is 0 for 1, fly out to center to end the bottom of the first. And a throw over to first. Sharp pickoff, but a dive back by Duran. Over on the St. Louis Bar and Grill Out of Town scoreboard, you can head to SportsCenter CBC to watch the Stanley Cup Final Game 7 about to start in Sunrise, Florida. Pitch to Abreu, who shows bunt and pops it up down the third baseline and actually bouncing into the netting. 0-1.
How excited are you for that game, Ben?
Very.
On a scale from 1 to 2.
1 being not that excited and 2 being very excited. I guess I'm a 2. We'll keep you updated on the happenings of that game as it goes. 0-1 pitch just high by Bassitt. 1 ball, 1 strike. I mean, it doesn't get much better than Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Finals, and then you add in how we got to Game 7. I mean, this is a historic game coming up. 1-1. Swing and a foul back. Bassitt threw the changeup there. It was foul tipped off the hand of Kirk, who walks for a second in front of the plate. Try and shake that one off. It's 1-2.
I have friends in the U.S., friends in California that are texting me saying, I'm excited to watch the Oilers game. And I'm shaking my head. I'm like, what? You just found out who the Oilers were last week. That tells you how important this game is.
Yeah, there's a lot going on. And you got the element, too, of Connor McDavid and the Oilers, great American player in Matthew Tkachuk in Florida. Not all Canadians are rooting for the Oilers, but certainly big pockets are. Chris Bassitt back on the rubber. Runner on first, 1 out. And is 1-2 to Abreu. Up and away, 2 balls, 2 strikes. Blue Jays have some hockey fans on the team. George Springer, Justin Turner, Jordan Romano. 2-2. Swing and a liner foul down the right field line. That was a splitter down and in off the plate, and Abreu reached down to get it but couldn't keep it fair.
Yeah, again, Bassitt missed his spot by quite a bit. Alejandro Kirk was set up outside and low. Well, actually kind of down the middle, but Chris Bassitt pulls that splitter on the inside part of the plate.
No strikeouts yet for Bassitt. We're here in the 4th. 2-2. Called strike 3 right on cue. He places a sinker right at the upper and outer portion of the zone and gets Abreu looking for the second out of the 4th.
Yeah, Abreu didn't like that call. Had some words for Paul Clemens behind home plate, but that was a pitcher's pitch right there. Very unhittable pitch, but still in that strike zone.
Gives Bassitt a chance here to try and strand that leadoff single. 1-0 Blue Jays, 2 outs. Jarren Duran on first. Rafael Devers up the pitch. Just outside with the splitter. Devers has got one of the more unique stances in baseball. His back foot, his left foot is on the inside chalk line of the batter's box, and his front right foot is on the outside part. He is as wide open as you'll see. 1-0 pitch, swing and a miss, 1-1.
A wild swing way out in front of that slow breaking ball from Chris Bassitt. 69 with that one.
This pitch he's used more and more to lefties, has cut out the sweeper and the slider. Yeah, Devers really out in front. Here's the 1-1. It's another curveball, and it's hammered to right field. That ball is way out of here. On that one, for sure, a moonshot by Rafael Devers, and the Red Sox take a 2-1 lead.
Well, rule number one, when you're throwing breaking balls, especially to good hitters like Devers, is if you throw one in the strike zone, your next one should be out of the strike zone. That one was a great one, pitch number one, and then he just hung one on pitch number two. And Devers just waited back and hammered that thing to right field.
443 feet for Devers. That matches his longest homer of the year with one he hit on May 17th. And is the second deepest home run anyone has hit at Fenway Park this year. Only Kyle Schwarber hit a further one. First pitch to Tyler O'Neill, called strike one. Red Sox on top now, 2-1. 2 outs, bases empty, bottom 4.
Devers actually lost his balance after he made contact with that ball. Fell forward a little bit into the right-handed batter's box and had to go around the umpire before he started running to first base.
0-1 pitch up and into O'Neill, who turns out of the way. Yeah, still looked like he had to do everything possible to stay on that pitch. But that one was hung, and he got a lot of it.
Well, when he's on time, that's a good swing. That's a beautiful swing right there.
Just matched O'Neill for the team lead with his 15th homer of the year. 1-1 to O'Neill, popped up in between first and the plate. Guerrero makes the call and catches it in foul territory to end the inning. A 2-run shot by Rafael Devers has put the Red Sox in front. 2-1 Boston after 4. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
The first presidential debate.
I just want to debate this guy. Make my day, pal.
Here live Thursday night on CNN with post-debate coverage with Megyn Kelly on Triumph, Stacey Washington on Patriot, Julie Mason on POTUS, and with John Fugelsang on Progress. And your voice.
And there's just so much at stake in our country today.
About your vote.
When we vote, it's voting for ourselves.
The CNN presidential debate. Thursday, 9 p.m. East on CNN Sirius XM 116.
Fantasy Sports Radio is helping you win your fantasy leagues right now on Channel 87.
Aaron Judge drills a 3-run home run.
From in-season fantasy baseball management to our all-time fantasy baseball draft to helping you prepare for your fantasy football drafts. Fantasy Sports Radio is here to help you dominate.
Don't ever take a player that you don't intend to keep all year. Don't do it. It's terrible management.
Fantasy Sports Radio, your home for fantasy sports. Channel 87 and on the all-new Sirius XM app.
The NASCAR Cup Series is on Sirius XM. We're back on the track Sunday,
2:30 p.m. Eastern.
It's the Ally 400 from Nashville Super Speedway.
Checker flag, baby. Yeah.
On Sirius XM NASCAR Radio Channel 90, in the car, and on the all-new Sirius XM app. Get closer to everything that moves you wherever you are with the Sirius XM app.
Let's make some smoke and drink some beer. Yeah.
The Blue Jays are in flight, leading 3-0.
Blue Jays fans, this is Ross Atkins, and you're listening to Blue Jays Baseball on Sirius XM.
The fifth inning is brought to you by Desjardins Financial Group. Desjardins awarded another 150 grants worth $20,000 each to entrepreneurs across Canada. See how Desjardins cheered on small biz at goodsparkgrants.ca. Tanner Houck into the wind. His pitch to Addison Barger outside, 1-0. 2-1 Red Sox, top of the fifth. Barger, Schneider, Kirk hitting this inning for the Blue Jays, 6-7-8. Right on left, the 1-0. Fastball down the middle, strike one. The 1-1. Outside, Barger lays off. Now in the driver's seat, 2 balls and 1 strike. Going back to the second inning, we were talking about Tyler O'Neill. When Barger threw a missile to throw out the right-handed hitter, he hits a foul ball off his front foot. He'll take a walk to the right, 2-2. For Barger, that throw was 94 miles an hour. The hardest throw by an infielder for the Blue Jays in the StatCast era.
Well, it looked like it was 94 miles an hour. That was a seed across the diamond.
And that's going off flat ground rather than the mound that pitchers work off of. 2-2. Swing and a high fly ball center field. Backing up Durant onto the track. Leaps and makes the catch just in front of the wall. That's great contact by Barger, but an even better play in center by Durant.
Yeah, that was a great swing on a slider that was right down the middle. Durant makes a great play in center field, right up against that iron fence out there. Off the bat, I thought he got it. That's deep. That is deep center field.
Yeah, it wasn't right at the 420, but it was probably, 415-ish to the wall out there. And that's a tough one for the Blue Jays. Tough to square up Tanner Houck on your best days. So there's 1 out, and here's Davis Schneider. Hit a fly ball to the warning track and left in the third. Takes ball 1. By the way, just to wrap up on Barger, he also owns the hardest outfield throw in the StatCast era by any Blue Jay. So he now has both the hardest infield and outfield toss. Schneider checks his swing on a pitch inside. Appeal down to first. He didn't go. It's 2-0.
Well, we know what he'll be trying if he ever has a lengthy struggle in the big leagues.
2-0. Swing and a ground ball to third, picked up by Devers. Crow hops and tosses over first, 2 down.
And that's the tough thing about Tanner Houck is he was just behind in the count 2-0, and then he has the ability to just flip in a breaking ball. He can throw that pitch anytime in any count, behind, ahead, and that's why he's so effective, or at least one of the reasons why he's so effective.
And his slider, it looks like a wiffle ball pitch out there with how much it moves. Pitch to Alejandro Kirk inside, 1-0. Welcome to the Timber Mart broadcast booth. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. 2-1 Red Sox, bases empty and 2 outs in the top of the 5th. Houck winds and delivers. Kirk rips it on the ground to third, right at Devers, who's up with it, and he'll lob it over to first to end the inning. Blue Jays down 1-2-3, still trail 2-1, middle of the 5th. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
It's FSGA Draft Week on Fantasy Sports Radio.
Touchdown, Travis Kelce!
The brightest minds in the fantasy sports industry are drafting against each other in specialized fantasy football drafts with a different draft each day.
That decision early in drafts, when to dive into the running back position and when to lay off, will be a big key in 2024.
Tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern, the Champions League Fantasy Football Draft, exclusively on SiriusXM Channel 87 and on the all-new SiriusXM app.
The Busted Open podcast is now available on YouTube. This is Dave LaGreca, host of Busted Open, the #1 pro wrestling show on the planet. You can now watch and listen to the award-winning Busted Open podcast every single day on YouTube. Our best interviews, behind-the-scenes access, and some of our best content from the past. All available right now when you go to youtube.com/@BustedOpenPodcast. Subscribe right now.
Nobody covers the National Football League like SiriusXM NFL Radio.
Mahomes fires it late for the end zone. Caught! Touchdown!
Stay updated with the latest news leading up to training camps.
We don't care about expectations. Talk doesn't win games.
Our panel of experts is getting you ready for the 2024 season.
The more I watch this guy, the more I like him.
There's a story for every team on SiriusXM NFL Radio Channel 88 in the car and on the all-new SiriusXM app.
24/7, 365 coverage of all things NASCAR. All things NASCAR happens exclusively on SiriusXM NASCAR Radio, Channel 90.
And the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Bottom of the 5th inning, Blue Jays at Fenway Park, trailing the Red Sox 2-1. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. Thanks so much for spending your Monday evening with us. Chris Bassitt trying to bounce back after giving up a 2-run homer to Rafael Devers in the bottom of the 4th. The Larry O'Brien Trophy in the house today at Fenway Park, and the Celtics are all there celebrating their 18th title. Masataka Yoshida leading off for the Red Sox. Chris Bassitt, a big college basketball fan, into the wind and the pitch. Inside, 1-0.
Who's his college team? I know it's not Akron.
I believe it's North Carolina.
Is that random? Seems a bit random.
I'll have to get back to you on that. 1-0. Swing and a miss. 1-1.
Although Akron is not terrible at basketball.
No, the Zips are pretty good. Pretty good at football, too. One. Foul tipped into the glove. 1-2. All the Celtics, though, there at the game today. And a pretty big day overall in Boston. They're doing a Nesson broadcast from the Green Monster. 1-2. High check swing by Yoshida. The left-handed hitter held back. 2-2.
We need to do a broadcast from the WestJet flight deck.
I'm down. Let's get it going.
Or the Corona bar.
I don't know if that would go well. I think there are too many distractions at the Corona bar. 2-2 pitch. Hit on the ground and through the hole into right field, a base hit. Masataka Yoshida, who has really hit the Blue Jays well in his career, comes up with a hit now in 13 of 14 starts against Toronto.
And that actually wasn't a bad pitch. It was a fastball almost on the black on the inside part of the plate. Yoshida is able to get those hands through and hit a decent ground ball through the right side.
So after going hitless in the first 3 innings, the Red Sox would lead off singles in each of the last 2. Chris Bassitt trying to strand this one. His pitch to former teammate of his, Dominic Smith. Fouled off, 0-1. Let's go to the injury report, brought to you by Bergmanis Prero, personal injury lawyers. If life has thrown you a curveball and you're striking out with your insurance company, get ahead of the count and call Bergmanis Prero, personal injury lawyers. You focus on getting better, and Bergmanis Prero will take care of the rest. Visit bplawyers.ca. First, the 0-1 pitch. Hit on the ground to second. Picked up by Horwitz. Shuffles. Throws to second one. IKF back to first. Ball dropped by Guerrero, although he would have been safe anyway. It's a fielder's choice. There's one down.
And again, not bad footwork from Spencer Horwitz. Turning and kind of to his right, making a good throw to second base.
He was pretty close to first base, too, when he picked that up. Long throw. Delivered a strike to IKF. But because that ball wasn't hit so hard, it was never going to be a double play. As we take a look at the replay now, it glances off the glove of Guerrero, but Smith is in there safely regardless. We'll get to the injuries in a sec. First, Reese McGuire up. The pitch to the former Blue Jay. Outside, ball 1. Jordan Romano resumed playing catch today. They had shut him down for a couple days. The elbow started barking on him again, but light tossing from 75 feet as they try to build him back up. And Jimmy Garcia long toss today at 120 feet. 1-0. Popped up. Third base. And under it is Barger in fair territory. Drifts to his left, makes the catch. 2 down. And then on the position player's side, the expectation pregame, said John Schneider, is that Bichette will be active tomorrow for the Blue Jays, which is the first day he can come off the injured list. Mentioned he could DH a little bit as he comes back, and the Blue Jays have been more than fine having Isaiah Kiner-Falefa play short in the interim. But the expectation, unless something changes, and Bichette went through all the drills today that they could put him through at Fenway Park, is that he will play tomorrow for the Blue Jays. Chris Bassitt stepping off before dealing to Cedon Rafaela with a runner on first and 2 outs. Dalton Varsho also went through a lot of physical drills today, and there was a thought that he might be active today for the Blue Jays. They never confirmed. First pitch to Rafaela. Hit on the ground softly to short. IKF flips to the second baseman, Horwitz on the bag, and that will do it for the 5th inning. A leadoff single stranded by Chris Bassitt. Still 2-1 Red Sox. We go to the 5th. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
At Crown Rust Control Center, protection runs deep because every Crown Rust Control Center is owned by a local family who cares beyond business. Your Crown Rust Control Center is 100% committed to their product, to you, to their community, which is your community. Protecting you and what matters to you is equally important as protecting your vehicle. Did you know your vehicle rusts faster in warm weather? Protect your vehicle today. For a special summer offer, find your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center at crown.com.
When Blue Jays starter Kevin Gossman is on the mound, you hear a lot of pops at Rogers Center. The pop of the ball hitting the catcher's mitt. The pop of the crowd as they cheer on another Gossman strikeout. But most importantly for Goss, the pop of his bubble gum.
Swing and a miss. Got him on the splitter again. One of the best at his craft.
Gossman loves his gum. So be one of the first 15,000 fans on Wednesday, July 3rd and get your Kevin Gossman bubblegum bobblehead. Get your tickets at BlueJays.com.
The hardest work should lead to the best quality of life. If you're a skilled trades worker, you might not be feeling that way right now. But in Alberta, skilled trades workers can earn more, save more, and live more with better wages and a lower cost of living. Visit albertaiscalling.ca to learn more about the $5,000 moving bonus for the first 2,000 skilled trades workers who move to Alberta, stay for a year, and successfully apply. A message from the Government of Alberta.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Swing and a miss. Strike three. He keeps this game tied
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Kevin Kiermaier leads off for the Blue Jays in the top of the sixth inning. Toronto trying to get back in front here. Led 1-0 at one point, but trailing 2-1 as we start the sixth. Tanner Houck, the Red Sox starter, throws a great slider right on the outside edge for strike one to start the frame.
He loves throwing that backdoor slider to lefties. That's his bread and butter.
0-1. Another slider, called strike two. I mean, if I could throw one like that, I'd throw it every pitch.
Well, he also has a 96-mile-an-hour sinker. Mix that in once in a while.
He's got the splitter as well. Into the wind is 0-2. Swing and a miss, strike three. Tripled up on the slider, strikes out Kiermaier for a second time today. 1 out. Let's go to the out-of-town scoreboard, brought to you by St. Louis Bar and Grill. By the way, I'm Ben Schulman. He's Chris LaRue. Kiermaier's former team, the Tampa Bay Rays, tied at 1 with the AL West leaders, the Seattle Mariners. That game in the top of the fifth. Cal Raleigh homered for the Mariners to start the scoring. First pitch to Isaiah Kiner-Falefa, low ball one. Former Blue Jay Taylor Saucedo threw a wild pitch for the Mariners that scored Richie Palacios to make it 1-1. 1-0 pitch to IKF, swing and a miss at a splitter inside. Over in Baltimore, Cleveland has snatched the lead back from Baltimore. Jose Ramirez with his 20th home run of the season. That guy is nuts.
He is a good player.
1-1 pitch outside, 2-1. Our out-of-town scores again brought to you by St. Louis Bar and Grill, and looks like we're underway in Edmonton. Panthers and Oilers. 2-1 pitch, swing and a miss, 2-2. Pardon me, in Florida. The wind and the 2-2. Called strike three. Maybe a hair low, but probably too close to take on the sinker. And there are two down on back-to-back strikeouts.
Yeah, too close to take, but that is just nasty stuff. It had the split action. It was a sinker down in the zone. Just drops a little bit, a hair below that strike zone, but I'm sure IKF knows that he should have at least tried to foul that pitch off.
So 2 outs, base is empty. Spencer Horwitz takes the slider outside, 1-0. Red Sox have a bit of a bullpen situation today. 6 of their 8 relievers have pitched at least 2 days in a row. Tanner Houck is just throwing his 72nd pitch of the day as he misses outside to make it 2-0 with 2 outs in the top of the 6th. If you were going to have a short bullpen for Alex Cora, you got the right starter on the mound in Tanner Houck. 2-0. Splitter right on the outside edge. 2 balls, 1 strike. Horwitz hasn't reached yet today after reaching 4 times yesterday. Right on left pitch. Swing and a ground ball foul down the first baseline. Gloved by Dominic Smith. He'll toss it over the netting into the seats. That makes it 2-2.
Tanner Houck usually is around 93 to 98 pitches per start. He has a game this season on May 15th where he threw 112, so who knows if he's going to do that tonight, but
2-2 foul back.
Generally around 95.
At 75 here and is a pitch away from getting through this 6th inning. Has only allowed base runners in one frame today. Gave up 3 hits in the 4th. Blue Jays scored their lone run that inning. Perfect otherwise. His 2-2 again. Inside, and that hit Horwitz. You could hear it glance off, I think, the shin guard, luckily for Horwitz, who went down to the ground but pops up quickly. And the Red Sox immediately are taking a look, but it really sounded like you could hear there that there was a hit by pitch.
Yeah, I think they took a quick look and realized that Horowitz did in fact get hit by that baseball.
They won't challenge, and here's an opportunity for the Blue Jays. You don't get many against Houck. They have a runner on for Vladimir Guerrero Jr., who's 1 for 2 today. From the stretch, Houck peeks at first and the pitch. Swing and a fly ball center field. Duran turns around. That one's off the top of the wall. Barehanded by Duran. Horwitz will go into third. Guerrero into second. It's a great play by Jarren Duran to get it back in. And the Blue Jays have 2 in scoring position, still trailing 2-1.
And that's actually a tough break for the Blue Jays. That ball was hit so hard that it didn't give Spencer Horwitz enough time to round second base and round third base. He had to stop at third. But that is another good swing from Vlad off the center field wall.
Vlad hit that 409 feet, 112 miles an hour. I don't have it officially yet, but I'm almost certain that that's a home run at Rogers Center. But with the confines of Fenway and a good play by a much improved outfielder in Jarren Duran, the Blue Jays unable to score. They will ask Justin Turner to drive in runs now. He knocked in the first Blue Jays run.
Yeah, that was a great play from Duran out in center field. Barehanded that ball off the wall and then makes a good throw to second base. But like I said, that's a tough break for the Blue Jays.
Their biggest opportunity, though, since the 4th inning. It's 2nd and 3rd, 2 outs. Justin Turner with a single up the middle in the 4th, scored Isaiah Kiner-Falefa. Blue Jays now trailing 2-1. We'll ask Turner to come through again. Houck's pitch. Slider down and away. Ball 1. Turner with 23 RBIs on the season. The 1-0. Called strike. Started the slider at the front hip and it broke over the plate.
That might have been the one that he wanted right there. That was a slider right down the middle. I know it's a tough pitch to hit when it starts at your hip like that, but if he swung the bat, he could have done damage on that pitch.
Now the 1-1. Slider misses down, 2-1. They do have the base open, Tanner Houck. So possibility that they don't have to go after Turner if they don't want to. The 2-1. Swing and a foul off to the right. That's a pretty hittable fastball. Doesn't look like they're pitching around him there, as that one was middle of the plate but at the knees.
Yeah, the location wasn't great from Houck, but it's still a tough pitch. He has such good stuff. 95 with some good sink.
2nd and 3rd, 2 outs. 2-1 Red Sox, top of the 6th. The pitch. Downstairs, ball 3. Turner had started the hands, but holds back on that slider. That was probably a ball out of the hand. It's a full count.
And I think you were right, especially with that open base. I probably wouldn't throw anything, at least over the heart of the plate, if I'm Tanner Houck.
George Springer waits on deck. The 3-2. Down and away, ball 4. Through the splitter and yanked it. That's a walk for Turner. He's aboard for the 2nd time today, and the bases are loaded with 2 outs. Houck looking up to the sky in frustration. Now steps back on to the rubber, and the Blue Jays have put a decent dent into his pitch count at least, which we were talking about earlier, now at 83. But Toronto still trailing 2-1. 2 outs, top of the 6th, bases loaded. The pitch to Springer. Fouled off his front foot, 0-1.
Wasn't a bad swing right there on a pitch, a very hittable pitch. A lot like the one Justin Turner took. Started at the front hip, and then that slider breaks over the middle of the plate. George Springer just missing it.
Springer 0 for 2 today. The 0-1. Swing and a fly ball, left center field. Duran calls off O'Neill and makes the catch to end the inning. The Blue Jays come up with a hit batter, a double, and a walk, but leave the bases loaded, do not score, and trail 2-1, middle of the 6th. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Hey, this is Conan O'Brien. Check out my channel, Conan O'Brien Radio, on SiriusXM 104. You'll find my delightful Conan O'Brien Needs a Friend podcast, highlights from my late-night shows, showcasing some of the most absurd and hilarious moments from my decades on television.
Come on, everyone, settle down. This is a serious TV show.
Plus, dive deep into 28 years of late-night memories and behind-the-scenes with Inside Conan. Conan O'Brien Radio, only on SiriusXM Channel 104. Or listen with the SiriusXM app.
Are you regretting eating that gas station hot dog? Yeah, we know. We've been there too. This is a message for baseball fans like you. Did you know that you get a channel that's talking baseball 24/7 as part of your SiriusXM subscription?
What?
Our lineup includes shows hosted by former big leaguers and executives. Plus, you'll hear from 17 managers each week. MLB Network Radio is on SiriusXM Channel 89, or just search MLB Network Radio on the SXM app. SiriusXM Sports. We're more than just a game.
You love listening to baseball. You love talking about baseball, and so do we. That's why SiriusXM has the only channel on the radio dedicated to baseball 24/7. It's MLB Network Radio, SiriusXM Channel 89. News, opinions, passionate baseball talk from former players and GMs, plus interviews with players, managers, and executives, original specials, and much, much, much more. All baseball, every day, on your radio. If you can hear me right now, you've got MLB Network Radio, SiriusXM Channel 89, and on the SiriusXM app.
Hey, baseball fans, the 2024 NBA Draft begins on June 26th, and NBA Radio is your home for all the action. Hear every pick on NBA Radio, Channel 86, and the all-new SiriusXM app.
Bottom of the 6th inning, Blue Jays in Boston, trailing 2-1 to the Red Sox. Just left the bases loaded. Now Chris Bassitt tries to keep it a one-run game. Top of the order up for Boston. First pitch to Jarren Duran, lined up the middle. Bassitt ducks out of the way, and IKF makes the catch on the center field grass. One down. Scary play. Bassitt will take a second as he was nearly struck by that liner that came back up the middle at 111 miles an hour.
Yeah, Duran smoked that baseball right back at Bassitt. I don't know if he was standing up straight if it would have hit him, but that is a scary situation for any pitcher. And then IKF makes the smooth play, catching that just above his head and behind second base.
Welcome to the Timbermart broadcast booth. That's Chris LaRue. I'm Ben Schulman. Pitch to David Hamilton, shows bunt, pulls it back, called strike one. Got some updates on the St. Louis Bar and Grill out of town scoreboard. A lot going on in Game 7 in Sunrise, Florida. The 0-1. Fouled back, bounces off the home plate umpire. 0-2. 8.5 minutes into Game 7. It's 1-1. Carter Verhaeghe scored for the Panthers 4.5 minutes in. And just over 2 minutes later, Matthias Janmark equalized for the Oilers. 11 minutes to go in the first period. Here's the 0-2 to David Hamilton. It's hit in the air to center. Kiermaier will backpedal just in front of the track. He turns and makes a one-handed catch. 2 outs.
I don't have much invested in that hockey game, but I can only imagine how Oilers fans felt when the Panthers scored early on in that hockey game.
And then you get like the complete opposite rush when they strike right back.
It's stressful just thinking about that.
I mean, it's big emotions either way for whoever wins and loses, obviously in a cup final. But in this final, even more. Wilyer Abreu takes the first pitch low, 1-0. Again, 1-1 Edmonton and Florida on the St. Louis Bar and Grill out of town scoreboard. 2-1 Boston over the Blue Jays. Bottom of the 6th. 2 outs, base is empty. The 1-0. Abreu takes strike one on the inside edge. It's been a pretty good start for Chris Bassitt so far. The big mistake to Devers on the 2-run homer in the 4th, but only 2 other hits allowed. 1-1. Swing and a miss. 1-2. He's still below 80 pitches here, potentially 1 pitch away from getting through 6. Bassitt and Kirk doing some hand signals right now. Some pitch comp communication. And the 1-2. High with the cutter. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Well, after that inning ended, after he gave up the home run to Devers, you could see him in the dugout visibly frustrated. He knew exactly what he needed to do with that slow breaking ball. He wasn't trying to throw it right down the middle. He was trying to bounce that pitch. And unfortunately, he didn't.
2-2 cutter hit foul. Off to the left. Out of play. Last time he faced the Red Sox, he went 6 innings and gave up 2 runs, left in line for the win, but did not end up getting the victory as Boston came back against the Toronto bullpen. In fact, he's got an ERA of around 1.5 last 3 starts, and the Blue Jays are 0-3 as a team in those 3 starts. He's taken no decisions each time. He misses outside with 2-2. It's a full count.
And his stuff has been noticeably better. His location has been noticeably better, ironic, because of that hung breaking ball to Devers.
The wind and the 3-2. Swing and a pop-up. Kirk gets rid of the mask, sprints toward the first base dugout, and makes the catch on the side warning track to end the inning. 6 innings for Chris Bassitt, only 2 runs allowed, but the Blue Jays trailing 2-1. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Bring it in, Canada. When it comes to small business, Desjardins is a big fan. And not just the hop on the bandwagon fan. We're the in it for the long haul fan. The fan that's been there from the start. That's why Desjardins awarded 150 entrepreneurs with Good Spark grants worth $20,000 each. Because like any fan, there's nothing we love more than celebrating a goal!
See how Desjardins is cheering on small business at goodsparkgrants.ca.
Not tomorrow, not someday. The home improvements begin today. It's game on with Timber Mart. Build that deck, raise that fence, landscape till your property is beautiful. Don't pay for 12 months on the Timber Mart deferred payment program. Your locally owned, completely Canadian hub of building and renovation expertise. Get your Timber Mart credit card at participating locations and pay later. 12 months later. Conditions apply. Ask in store for details or apply at timbermart.ca.
At Crown Rust Control, protection runs deep because every Crown Rust Control Center is owned by a local family who cares beyond business. Your Crown Rust Control is 100% committed to their product, to you, to their community, which is your community. Protecting you and what matters to you is equally important as protecting your vehicle.
Did you know your vehicle rusts faster in warm weather? Protect your vehicle today. For a special summer offer, find your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center at crown.com.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Swing and a miss, strike 3. Barrios retires 7 in a row.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Tanner Houck back out on the mound for the Red Sox, the righty starter, about to begin his 7th inning of work. He has Boston in front 2-1 at Fenway Park. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. Right on left, his pitch to Addison Barger misses down and away. Ball 1. Barger 0 for 2 today, but hit one to the wall in the 5th inning that required a leaping catch by center fielder Jarren Duran. 1-0 pitch is ripped foul on the ground. 1 ball, 1 strike. Barger 7 for 22 now since coming back up to the team on June 15th. Batting average over 300. 1-1. Takes a fastball down the middle, 1-2.
You think he looks different?
I think I think he looks a little more confident, but I think there was some bad luck in his first stretch too. He hit a couple liners at people. 1-2 pitch outside, 2-2. But like that take right there, splitter misses down and away. He was very swing happy, it felt like, in his first stint.
Yeah, overly aggressive. That's what it seemed like to me. He's a little bit more patient now.
2-2. Swing and a bouncer foul. I mean, every swing he takes, he doesn't really get cheated. He's taking big swings, but just picking his spots maybe a little bit better now. He'll ask for time and take a step out of the box.
And maybe he knows now that he has a little bit longer of a leash. I think that maybe calms a player down when a team tells them that, hey, you have three weeks, a month. Don't worry about things.
2-2 pitch, hit foul off to the left. Yeah, he told me maybe a week, 10 days ago that he's not trying to prove his spot with every at-bat now. When he came up the first time, the Blue Jays had an injury. Kevin Kiermaier went down, so there was a pretty finite amount of time that he was likely to stay. But now he's been up with the team because they made a roster move getting rid of someone. 2-2 pitch, just outside. Tough take, ball 3. McGuire fixed a throw around the horn way after the ball was called a ball. But full count. Was a pretty close pitch.
Well, that wasn't a strike. I think Reese McGuire was acting a little bit there. Did a nice job of framing that pitch, but not a strike.
3-2 pitch, last foul, catcher's interference. McGuire got the glove out a little bit too much. So catcher's interference called against Reese McGuire. He gets an error. No at-bat for Barger, who goes down to first.
And that is a huge break for the Blue Jays. You have to think about manufacturing this run now. I'm not talking about sacrifice bunting. I'm just talking about getting somebody to second base somehow with less than 2 outs. That's the biggest thing if you're John Schneider right now.
Here's Davis Schneider at the plate. Slide step in the pitch inside, 1-0. Addison Barger has attempted one stolen base, and he made it there in the majors. Tanner Houck in the set, his 95th pitch of the day. Front hip slider gets in the zone for strike 1.
And the reason why it's so important to try to manufacture something now, it's because the guy standing on the mound. The guy standing on the mound is one of the best pitchers in all of Major League Baseball. You have to take what you can get.
1-1 pitch, foul tipped into the glove. Awkward swing on a sweeper in on the hands. It's 1-2. Isaiah Campbell up in the pen right now for the Red Sox. Made the move to bring up Campbell to get a little bit more fresh arms in the pen, and now the 1-2 freezes Schneider. Called strike 3. 7th K today for the righty Tanner Houck.
And that's just frustrating right there. And now you have 1 out. The guy's still standing on first base. And I know that's not Davis Schneider's fault, but you have to at least try to foul that pitch off. That was a fastball on the inside part of the plate, but not an unhittable pitch.
First pitch to Alejandro Kirk, hit foul, 0-1. Blue Jays haven't had a ton of base runners against Houck, but they left the bases loaded in the 3rd and had first and third, 1 out in the 4th before George Springer hit into a double play. Runner on first is Addison Barger. The 0-1. Outside, 1-1. And they do if they're going to hit and run. IKF's one guy they do it with a lot. Kirk is one guy that they tend to hit and run with a bit because he doesn't swing and miss a ton and will be prone to hit the ball on the ground. Turn and throw over to first. Barger back with a dive.
And there's also a huge hole on the right side of that infield. Dominic Smith is holding on Barger. David Hamilton is kind of shaded towards second base, almost actually behind second base. So no time like the present for Kirk to go through that hole on the right side.
The 1-1. Swing and a slow bouncer to third. Charging endeavors. Gloves. Tosses over to first. Barger does advance into scoring position. But now there are 2 outs.
I actually think that might have been a hit and run attempt. Barger was stealing on the play, and Alejandro Kirk swung at a tough pitch on the inside part. Really all he could do with that pitch, a tough sinker on the inside part of the plate, actually off the plate inside.
Yeah, I think you're right, and that's, again, why they do it with Kirk. Even on a tough pitch like that, he's going to make contact a lot of the time. And the Blue Jays do at least put Barger into scoring position. Here's Kevin Kiermaier. Reese McGuire asked for time at the plate. It's granted by home plate ump Paul Clements. Kiermaier has driven in 39 runs against the Red Sox in his career, more than any other team he's played against. Runner on second, 2 down, and the pitch. Swing and a liner, center field, it's a base hit. Around third and scoring, Addison Barger make it the 40th time that Kevin Kiermaier has driven in a run against the Red Sox, and we're tied at 2 in the top of the 7th.
Well, that might be the biggest base hit of the season right there for this team. He takes a tough slider, almost on the black, and just absolutely hammers it up the middle.
He had been feeding Kiermaier's sliders all day, struck him out on sliders in the 3rd and the 6th, but Kiermaier anticipated it here in the 7th and knocks in Barger and knocks Tanner Houck out of the game. 2-2. Kiermaier is on first, 2 outs, top of the 7th. Pitching change for the Red Sox. Let's go to baseball control with today's host, Roger Lajoie.
And gentlemen, thanks very much. Out of Town Scoreboard is brought to you by St. Louis Bar and Grill. Let's have a look at that during our break. Edmonton and Florida, the big game, of course. Yeah, big game. Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Final. 5:01 to go in the opening period. The score is tied 1-1. Verhaeghe opened the scoring for Florida. Janmark with a goal shortly after. 5:01 to play in period 1 of Game 7 in Sunrise. Edmonton and Florida tied 1-1. Of note, on Sportsnet 590, The Fan, our flagship station, and many of the Sportsnet Radio Network stations, we will go to the Stanley Cup Final after Blair and Barker bring you Jays Talk tonight. So stick around for that. You'll hear the end of the game right here. Let's look at the Major League Baseball Out of Town Scoreboard. Bryce Harper, big night for Philadelphia. 5 RBIs, including a 3-run homer, his 19th. Philadelphia leads Detroit 7-1 in the top of the 7th inning. Other games in progress. Cleveland clinging to a 3-2 lead over the Baltimore Orioles. Bottom of the 8th in Baltimore. End of 6 in Tampa Bay. Seattle and Tampa Bay tied at 1. Cincinnati leading Pittsburgh 6-3. They're in the bottom of the 5th in Cincinnati. Cardinals had 2 runs in the 3rd, 2 runs in the 4th. Lead the Atlanta Braves 4-0. Still hitting in the bottom of the 4th. LA Dodgers in Chicago to take on the White Sox. Scoreless so far, top of the 3rd there. Same score, top of the 3rd in Kansas City, where the Miami Marlins and the Kansas City Royals are hooking up tonight. And Texas and Milwaukee also scoreless. They are in the bottom of the 3rd in Milwaukee. 3 later games tonight, 9:38 start. Oakland in Los Angeles to take on the Angels. Washington at San Diego at 9:40. Chicago at San Francisco at 9:45. Blue Jays baseball is brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center. Back to the guys in the booth. That's Ben Schulman and Chris LaRue.
Thank you very much, Raj. Isaiah Campbell into the game for the Red Sox. The righty called up today to give them a little bit more depth in a very tired pen right now. He takes over with IKF at the plate. Campbell's first pitch to Kiner Falefa fouled off the end of the bat. 0-1. Runner on first for the Blue Jays, Kevin Kiermaier. And Campbell, making his 8th appearance of the year, has given up 9 earned runs, 10 runs total in 6 1/3 in the majors this year.
I would imagine Kiermaier would try to swipe second at some point in this at-bat, get to second base. You have 2 outs in this inning. It would be important to get to second base right now.
Campbell set below the belt, peaks at first, and the pitch. It's high, 1-1. Campbell throws a slider and a sweeper. Seldom uses his four-seam fastball, which is 92 to 94. A breath in the 1-1. Swing and a miss on that fastball. Dialed it up to 95 and beat IKF up and in. 1-2.
I bet IKF wants that one back. That was a four-seamer almost right down the middle. Swung just underneath that.
Kiermaier getting a big lead off first. 1-2 is lined to right field. A base hit. Or no, it's picked off the right field glass by the second baseman, and he throws it away. Hamilton throws it over first. Kiermaier up to third. Looked like almost a sure hit. Hamilton used his speed to cut it off, but then tossed it wildly. That'll be an error on the second baseman to at least advance Kiermaier up to third. I think it'll go down as a base hit for Kiner Falefa, and the Blue Jays have runners on the corners with 2 outs.
Well, I think IKF would have beat it out regardless of if that throw was good or not, but that was an ugly, ugly play. Throws it over the head of Devers. And then luckily Reese McGuire was backing up. Actually, Isaiah Campbell picked that ball up, but that could have been even worse for the Red Sox if Isaiah Campbell didn't get that baseball.
So it is a base hit for Isaiah Kiner-Falefa. An error to advance Kiermaier to third. Runners on the corners, 2-2. And with 2 outs in the top of the 7th, the pitch to Spencer Horwitz. Swing and a foul ball off his front foot, 0-1. Two guys who have spent most of their season in the International League. Horwitz with the Bisons, Buffalo Bisons, and Campbell with the Worcester Red Sox. 0-1. Swinging a liner down in right field, a base hit. Kiermaier in to score. It's cut off in right by Abreu. All the way to third goes Kiner-Falefa. It's an RBI single for Horwitz, and the Blue Jays are back on top, 3-2 Toronto.
Well, I said that Kevin Kiermaier's base hit might have been the biggest base hit of the season, but that one just trumped it right there. A great swing from Spencer Horwitz, drilling that line drive over Devers at first base. A huge run in this ball game and in this season.
For Horwitz, now the second time he's been aboard today, his first hit of the day. He found his slider down and in and just got enough of it to clear the first baseman, Dominic Smith. Now Vladimir Guerrero Jr. at the plate. Still a chance to add more as Guerrero slams it left field and into the night sky. A 3-run homer. It's 6-2 Blue Jays. He jumped all over that first pitch sweeper, hit it 113 miles an hour out of Fenway Park.
And just like that, Tanner Houck leaves this game. Isaiah Campbell comes in and gives up a couple base hits. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. with one of his prettiest home runs of the season.
You are not hearing this wrong. Vlad hit that ball a projected 471 feet to left center. And the Blue Jays have their largest lead since their last win back last Sunday at home against Cleveland. Vlad walking into the dugout in the home run jacket. First pitch to Turner, called strike one.
So is it okay to say that he got all of that one?
Oh, my goodness.
That was just a hanging breaking ball right on the inside part of the plate, and Vlad didn't miss it. Wow.
Turner takes strike one. Or pardon me, strike two. That's the third homer in 4 games for Vladimir Guerrero Jr., who's up to 10 on the year.
He's getting geared up for the home run derby.
Perhaps. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Turner goes down on a fastball, but the Blue Jays score 5 in the inning, capped off by Vladimir Guerrero Jr.'s 3-run homer. It's 6-2 Blue Jays at the 7th inning stretch. Sweet Caroline about to play in Boston. Stick around. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Hi, I'm Buck Martinez, live from the showdown between pizza, and inflation. First to the plate, with over 2 million sold, it's Fixed Rate Pizza, a hot and fresh extra-large 4-topping pizza for a fixed price of $17.99 until the end of 2024. Here's the delivery. And inflation strikes out. That's a swing and a drive for Fixed Rate Pizza. Lock in yours today.
Pizza.ca. At Crown Rust Control Center, protection runs deep because every Crown Rust Control Center is owned by a local family who cares beyond business. Your Crown Rust Control Center is 100% committed to their product, to you, to their community, which is your community. Protecting you and what matters to you is equally important as protecting your vehicle. Did you know your vehicle rusts faster in warm weather? Protect your vehicle today. For a special summer offer, find your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center at crown.com.
The hardest work should lead to the best quality of life. If you're a skilled trades worker, you might not be feeling that way right now. But in Alberta, skilled trades workers can earn more, save more, and live more with better wages and a lower cost of living. Visit albertaiscalling.ca to learn more about the $5,000 moving bonus for the first 2,000 skilled trades workers who move to Alberta, stay for a year, and successfully apply. A message from the Government of Alberta.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
0-2 swing and a miss, strike 3.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Welcome to the Timber Mart broadcast booth. 6-2 Blue Jays, bottom of the 7th in Boston. Rafael Devers leading off. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. Chris Bassitt gets ahead of Devers with a sinker for strike 1. This game just changed dramatically. The Blue Jays, with RBI singles from Kevin Kiermaier and Spencer Horwitz. There's the 0-1. It's lined up the middle into center for a base hit. Then a 3-run homer by Vladimir Guerrero Jr. have taken a 6-2 lead over the Red Sox.
Yeah, we said it a couple times, but that home run was a beautiful thing. If you're a Jays fan, of course.
Guerrero hitting that ball 471 feet, if you weren't with us last inning. It went out of the ballpark over the monster. And it wasn't pulled right down the line either. Here's Tyler O'Neill, runner on first, nobody out. Bassitt's pitch. Here's a cutter in there for strike 1.
Yeah, it cleared those advertisements above the green monster by a good bit.
Looks like Guerrero's starting to heat up. Blue Jays, though, still have to contend with a very good offense in the Red Sox, up 6-2. O'Neill 0 for 2 today. A long look by Bassitt, and he steps off with 1 second on the clock. That'll reset the pitch clock. First step off of the plate appearance for Chris Bassitt. Oh, 1. Lifted to right. Springer started in. Now he'll back up 5 steps. Still backpedaling now. In front of the track, he makes the catch. 1 out. It's amazing how baseball works, too. That whole 7th inning doesn't happen if not for catcher's interference. Addison Barger leads off that inning. Gets to a 3-2 count, and Reese McGuire reaches his glove out too far. He gets on. Alejandro Kirk barely makes contact on a hit and run to make sure that Barger gets to second, and Kiermaier, who hadn't made contact with a pitch, it felt like, in his first 2 at-bats, singles him home.
Yeah, and he smoked that baseball, too.
Yeah.
It wasn't just a broken bat base hit, but that was a good line drive up the middle.
First pitch to Masataka Yoshida, called strike 1.
So I guess we can blame that whole inning on Reese McGuire.
Wow.
Is that what you're saying?
No. But it didn't help. The 0-1. Yoshida bounces it foul down the first baseline. Guerrero gave it a look, but it hits off the tarp down the right field line. 0-2. Part of what you really, I think, if you're looking at the Red Sox in that inning, what you can blame it on is how much they've used the pen over the last 2 days, including a bullpen day yesterday. They called up Isaiah Campbell today and thrust him into a leverage spot. And now they're warming up Josh Winkowski, who they also called up today, and Chase Anderson, their long man. 0-2. Just high and outside.
Yeah, this might be the only game this whole season where a guy like Isaiah Campbell comes into a leverage spot like that, especially after their number 1 starter. Tanner Houck was leaving this game. He was seeing a guy coming into this game that has a 12 ERA. You can only imagine what he was thinking.
And this is one of the better bullpens in all of baseball for the Red Sox. But they just don't have much available right now. Won a couple close, hard-fought games with the Reds. Kirk sets up in. The 1-2 to Yoshida is popped up back of the plate and out of play. Now we'll see how much the Blue Jays bullpen is a factor. They haven't protected many leads recently as Toronto's lost 6 in a row. Toronto is up 6-2. Bassitt at 90 pitches with a runner on first and 1 out, bottom 7.
In a perfect world, it'll be Chris Bassitt for 7 and 8, and then Chad Green for the 9th inning. In a perfect world.
Next pitch hit on the ground through the hole into center field. A base hit. That one hit just to the second baseman side of second base, and a 2-hit day for Yoshida. Devers on to second, and the Red Sox threatening here in the bottom of the 7th.
I thought that was going to be a double play, but Spencer Horwitz was kind of shaded in that hole on the right side of the infield, unable to get to that baseball. But now the Red Sox look like they have something cooking.
Dominic Smith due to hit next, who played a fairly big role, larger than you would have expected in the first series. Smith came up with 2 hits in Game 2 of the first series, Blue Jays and Red Sox. He had an RBI single in the second inning of that game, and then when the Blue Jays were up 3-2, Tyler O'Neill hits a home run to tie it in the 8th. Smith comes up with a base hit, and then his pinch ran for, and that ends up being the winning run in the game. And then if you look to Game 3 of that series, where the Red Sox sweep the Blue Jays, Smith has an RBI double in the 8th inning and then comes in to score himself. A guy who's hitting .223 on the year, but has had some of his biggest moments against Toronto. Veteran spent a long time with the Mets. First pitch to Smith, low ball 1. Was teammates with Chris Bassitt in 2022 with the Mets. Devers on second, Yoshida on first, 1 out. 6-2 Blue Jays, bottom of the 7th. A look at second base from Bassitt, the pitch. Called strike, and a snap throw back to second. Kiner Falefa comes in and gloves it. Devers was back in standing.
I think that was a set play. Really had no chance at Devers. That was a set play before that pitch even happened.
Kiner Falefa just pump his glove back to Kirk. Maybe just something to keep Devers a little bit closer to second. Trying to stop him from scoring on a single if it happens. 2 singles this inning for the Red Sox. The 1-1. Outside. 2 balls and 1 strike.
Although the only thing I don't love about that play is you have a 4-run lead late in a ball game. You don't want to take away a strike, a potential strike from Chris Bassitt. You don't want to move the infielders out of position. Don't love that.
The risk reward isn't probably great on that play. 2-1. High and outside. 3 balls and 1 strike. Kirk pounding the ball into his glove. Bassitt here in danger of a walk that would load the bases. 95 pitches now for the righty. He's only walked 1 today. It was Dominic Smith in the 3rd. Righty in the set. Kicks and delivers. Fastball hit in the air. Down the right field line and shallow. Springer coming in, angling toward the stands, has to contend with the fans, and they probably get in his way there as he can't make the play. I mean, nothing wrong. That ball was in the seats. You're allowed to go after it if you're a fan. But as the Blue Jays staff looked out to the players to see if they wanted to challenge, even there were kind of shaking their hand in a so-so manner, as it doesn't really look like fan interference, but rather a Red Sox fan helping out the Red Sox. But it's an interesting one to look at.
That actually hit his glove. It looked like it was in halfway in his glove for a brief moment. And then obviously he was contending with all those people trying to get that free baseball.
Blue Jays don't look at it. It's a full count now with 1 out. 2 on. 6-2 Blue Jays, the pitch. Chopped foul down the right field line. And I think on that replay, it looked clear. You know, if no one's there, that ball lands in the seats.
What do you think about one row in? Is that how deep that was?
And if you're a fan, you're fully within your rights to go after that ball. I mean, especially if the Blue Jays are trying to catch it and you're a Red Sox fan, it makes sense. Another 3-2 to Dominic Smith. Breaking ball bounced foul to the left. Pretty good battle by the veteran Smith. He's seen 6 pitches. Or pardon me, 7.
I think Dominic Smith actually got that off the end of the bat. A good little sweeper right down the middle. Just seemed like Dominic Smith was expecting a fastball there way out in front. Got lucky.
Blue Jays starting to get some guys loose here with Bassitt at 98 pitches. Double barrel action. Nate Pearson, the righty, and Tim Mesa, the lefty, both getting loose. And the pitch clock did not start correctly, so Chris Bassitt stepped off. There's no step-off charge to him. That was acknowledged by home plate ump Paul Clemens, and he communicated to the first base dugout of the Red Sox to make sure everyone knew. And now, time asked for by Dominic Smith. So we'll wait again before another 3-2.
A lot going on right now.
A pair of senior players battling in a big moment here. 6-2 Blue Jays, 2 on, 1 out, bottom of the 7th. 3-2 again. And Smith swings and misses. Chased a sinker way off the plate outside. It's strike 3, and there are 2 down.
Yeah, Dominic Smith shaking his head, walking back to that dugout. Wasn't a great pitch, but had a ton of movement on it. A lot of horizontal movement. Dominic Smith just waves at it. Big strikeout for Chris Bassitt.
John Schneider is on the top step of the dugout talking with Pete Walker, but it looks like he'll continue. Pinch hitter now for the Red Sox. Reese McGuire has been lifted. Emmanuel Valdez, the left-handed hitting infielder, is into the game. McGuire was a left-handed hitter as well, but Valdez known a little bit more for the bat, although he's had an up-and-down season.
Yeah, if I'm John Schneider, I'm leaving Chris Bassitt in this ball game, especially with a 4-run lead. You don't want to take a guy out that still looks pretty good. His stuff is still good.
Pete Walker will go out to the mound now. They'll give Bassitt a breather. They'll give Pearson and Meza some time to get loose. But you're not going to bring Pearson in with the lefty, so the choice here is stick with Bassitt or go with Meza. Blue Jays have Brendan Little and Genesis Cabrera probably both unavailable today. They've pitched back-to-back days, so they decided to stick with Bassitt here.
You think Chris Bassitt is saying, I don't care if Nolan Ryan is in that bullpen right now, I'm staying in this ball game?
I don't think Chris Bassitt's ever been happy about coming out of a game. I think Chris Bassitt throws a complete game and he's mad that it's not 10 innings. But yeah, I think you're right there. He's pitched well tonight, and he's got a shot here to close out 7 innings. He's at 99 pitches, though. This could be his last batter. First and second, bottom of the 7th, 2 down, 6-2 Blue Jays. The pitch. Outside, ball 1. Last time Bassitt went at least 7 was when he went 8 innings against the Oakland Athletics. A look at second, the 1-0. Check swing, called, strike, just grabbed the top of the zone to even up the count.
That's a big call right there. Paul Clemens gives Chris Bassitt a strike. I don't know if it was a strike. Might have been above the strike zone, but a big call from Paul Clemens.
Bassitt had 101 pitches. Staring at Devers, the lead runner, the pitch. Swing and a fly ball, left field line in foul territory. Barger, the third baseman, reaches up and makes the catch before the camera well. That is 7 innings for Chris Bassitt. 2 runs allowed, and the Blue Jays take a 6-2 lead to the 8th. Don't go anywhere. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
The NASCAR Cup Series is on SiriusXM. We're back on the track Sunday,
2:30 p.m. Eastern.
It's the Ally 400 from Nashville Superspeedway.
Checker flag, baby. Yeah.
On SiriusXM NASCAR Radio Channel 90, in the car, and on the all-new SiriusXM app. Get closer to everything that moves you, wherever you are, with the SiriusXM app.
Let's make some smoke and drink some beer. Yeah.
Hey everyone, it's Brian Geltzeiler from SiriusXM NBA Radio. The NBA draft begins on June 26th, and we're your home for all the action. Hear non-stop coverage on all our shows.
Mark it down. That guy is going to be a star in this league.
Exclusive interviews.
We are now joined by Bronny James. I just found happiness in what I'm doing right now, and I feel like that's where I want myself to be at.
And every pick on the big night.
With the first pick.
Your home for the 2024 draft is NBA Radio, Channel 86, and the all-new SiriusXM app. Just search NBA Radio.
If you love golf, then you should never turn off SiriusXM PGA Tour Radio. Our hosts have the best takes.
Tiger's impact on the game of golf, aside from how good he was at it, was something that I don't think we'll ever see again.
Talk to the biggest guests.
Scotty, you've had a year to celebrate. This year, I've just seen a lot of good results.
And can even help you with your own game.
Take the club and at address, open it up.
It's all golf, all the time. On SiriusXM PGA Tour Radio, Channel 92 in the car, and on the SiriusXM app.
After the game, join us on MLB Network Radio. We're talking baseball with you all season long on SiriusXM Channel 89 and the SiriusXM app.
Sportsnet Radio Network.
Top of the 8th inning at Fenway Park. The Blue Jays leading the Red Sox 6-2. Thanks so much for sticking around. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. Likely the end of the day for Chris Bassitt, and what a day it was for the Blue Jays starter. He just completed his 7th inning, gave up 5 hits, 2 earned runs, 1 walk, hit 1 batter, and struck out 2.
Yeah, his stuff was very good tonight. He fell behind a couple of hitters here and there, but for the most part, a good sinker, some good breaking balls, and that cutter at the top of the zone was really effective too.
George Springer leading off for the Blue Jays in the 8th inning. Golfs a fly ball out to left field, caught by Tyler O'Neill. 1 down. A completely new battery for the Red Sox here in the 8th inning. Former Blue Jay Chase Anderson makes his 20th appearance of the year. 4.78 ERA for the righty. And former Blue Jay Tyler Heineman is in to catch after Reese McGuire, another former Blue Jay, was pinch hit for in the bottom of the 7th. They replaced the pinch hitter Valdez with the other catcher Heineman. Pitch to Addison Barger, called strike 1. Anderson, the veteran, in his 11th season. 0-1. Sliced foul, 0-2. Most known for his days as a starter in the 2010s with Arizona and Milwaukee. Started for the Blue Jays in the 2020 season and has been a reliever back and forth over the last couple years. 0-2. Just misses down with a changeup. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Barger 0 for 2 today, reached on catcher's interference last inning. 1-2 pitch. Fouled back.
Chase Anderson's 36 years old. I don't know about you, but he doesn't look 36. He looks a little bit younger than that.
Oh, yeah, he looks good. I mean, not that you wouldn't look good at 36, but
he looks younger than 36.
Yeah. Righty into the wind. 1-2. Outside, 2 balls, 2 strikes. Not overpowering stuff for Anderson. 4-seamers in the low to mid 90s. 2-2 pitch is popped up into the seats left side. There was a lot of cutters, though. A high 80s cutter. Will throw his changeup a ton. That gets a lot of movement to the arm side. And he's just going to give you a much deeper mix than most relievers are going to throw you.
Yeah, he hasn't been very good over the last 4 years either.
2-2 pitch in the dirt, 3-2. He's a very traditional long man for the Red Sox.
5.5 ERA last year. 2022, he had a 6.5 ERA. 21, he had a 6.5 ERA.
Three-two pitch. Swing and a foul off. Barger might have chased a changeup a little bit low there, but doesn't take any chances and stays alive. Seen 8 pitches has Addison Barger in this plate appearance. 1 out, base is empty, top of the 8th, 6-2 Toronto. 3-2 pitch. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Anderson dials the fastball up to 95, left it a little bit outside. Barger goes chasing for the 2nd out of the inning.
Not a bad at-bat right there from Barger. Fouled off some tough pitches, but kind of just waves at that one right there. It looked like Anderson dialed it up a bit. 95, more of a straight 4-seamer on the outside part.
So 2 outs and Davis Schneider up. First pitch. Anderson gets a break on a pitch a little bit outside. It's called strike 1. In his return to Fenway Park, Schneider 0 for 3 today. Swings and drives a ball to left field, but it's hit near Tyler O'Neill, who runs to his right and makes the catch to end the inning. 1-2-3 in the top of the 8th. For Chase Anderson, 6-2 Blue Jays with 9-1-2 hitting in the bottom half for Boston. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
At Crown Rust Control, protection runs deep because every Crown Rust Control Center is owned by a local family who cares beyond business. Your Crown Rust Control is 100% committed to their product, to you, to their community, which is your community. Protecting you and what matters to you is equally important as protecting your vehicle.
Did you know your vehicle rusts faster in warm weather? Protect your vehicle today. For a special summer offer, find your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center at crown.com.
Hi, I'm Buck Martinez, live from the showdown between Pizza and inflation. First to the plate, Pizza's big hitter, fixed rate pizza. An extra large 4-topping pizza for a fixed price of $17.99 until the end of 2024. I dare say, folks, inflation stands no chance against this all-star. Here's the delivery. and inflation strikes out. That's a swing and a drive for fixed rate pizza. Lock in yours today.
Order pizza.ca.
This is the best I've ever seen.
The competition's heating up on America's Got Talent.
Yeah!
Heart-pumping performances.
This season, everything is 10 times better.
And must-see moments.
You absolutely nailed it.
It was incredible.
The word is epic.
With $1 million dream on the line.
You've got a real shot at winning after that.
America's Got Talent. All new Tuesdays, 8/7 Central on City TV. Or stream it on City TV Plus.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
A game-tying blast from Bo Bichette.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
This copyrighted broadcast is presented by Authority of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership or the Sportsnet Radio Network. Blue Jays at Fenway Park, bottom of the 8th inning. Welcome back to Blue Jays Baseball. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. Nate Pearson takes over for Toronto. His pitch to Cedon Rafaela is lifted to very shallow center. The second baseman, Spencer Horwitz, is calling for it on the outfield. Grass goes back and makes the catch. 1 out. 32nd appearance of the year for Pearson, who's just barely sporting an ERA below 4 at 3.99. Big strikeout numbers, 37 punch-outs in now 29 2/3 innings.
He's really relied on that slider a lot more lately. But even in his last outing, that fastball got up to 100 miles an hour.
First one was 98 to get the Rafaela pop-up, and now he misses with 99 to Jarren Duran at the top of the order. 1-0. Seems like he's shifting maybe a little bit back toward the fastball again recently. His 1-0. Fastball at the knees, 1-1.
Well, in his last outing, he looked great. If he can kind of just bottle that up and throw that every single outing, he'd be a great back of the bullpen type of arm. But like we've seen this season, he's very up and down.
Fastball hit in the air. It's a pop-up back of third, calling for it. Barger, now he looks at IKF and the ball drops in. Duran was hustling. He gets into second, and what should have been a sure out, I think, will go down as a double. Miscommunication on the left side of the infield for the Blue Jays.
Well, I don't know what happened, but when that ball was about to drop, IKF and Barger kind of stared at each other, and it bounced in between them.
It looked like Barger was camping under it and then turned and looked at IKF. And Pearson couldn't believe it. Hands above his head. He tries to bounce back now against David Hamilton. Starts him off with a slider for strike one.
Well, that's a tough break for this team, especially with Devers and O'Neill due up later in this inning.
Red Sox fans back into the game here. The runner on second, 1 out. The 0-1 pitch is driven. Right field. Springer going back. That ball's gone. It's a 2-run game. 2-run home run, David Hamilton. And it's 6-4.
Well, again, I've said this a lot this season about Nate Pearson. He gets a guy on base and he starts to speed up. The game kind of speeds up on him. And he tries to rush things. Even with a 4-run lead where a reliever should feel relatively comfortable, I think he speeds up. And then that kind of makes him leave balls over the plate. And that fastball right there was right down the middle. Even though it was 98 miles an hour, Hamilton didn't miss it. He drilled that baseball.
First pitch slider, called strike against Wilyer Abreu, 0-1. And now the Red Sox crowd really into it after that 2-run shot. 0-1 pitch. Curveball just misses, says home plate umpire Paul Clements. Few places get louder in all of baseball than Fenway Park. Still 6-4 Blue Jays. 1 out, bottom of the 8th, the 1-1. Curveball breaks over the outside edge to get Pearson ahead, 1-2. Tim Meza is up for the Blue Jays, the lefty. Rafael Devers on deck.
I'm assuming if Abreu gets on, Meza will be coming in to face Devers.
1-2. Swing and a miss. Strike three. Pitch in the dirt. Kirk goes inside of fair territory and throws down to first to complete the strikeout. 2 outs. Well, a good bounce back from Pearson after the home run. He gets Abreu. We'll see if they let him face Devers. They are not going to. John Schneider instead will try to match up left on left with the Red Sox slugger. After a miscommunication on the infield, got Duran on a 2-run homer to make it 6-4. 2 outs in the inning. Let's go to baseball control as the Blue Jays make a pitch change. Here's our host today, Roger Lajoie.
Ben, thanks very much. And the Stanley Cup Final is, of course, the big item on the St. Louis Bar and Grill out-of-town scoreboard. Brought to you by, of course, St. Louis Bar and Grill. 4.5 minutes gone in the second period. Edmonton currently on a power play. They are still tied 1-1 in Game 7. The shots were 6-6 after the first period. Dead even tonight, and no big surprise there since it is Game 7. 35 seconds to go in the power play. 15-13 to go in the second period. 1-1. We will pick up that game in progress on Sportsnet 590 The Fan at the end of Jay's Talk with Blair and Barker right after the game and on many of the Sportsnet Radio Network stations. In the majors tonight, one final in the books. Cleveland beat Baltimore 3-2. BB over Povich in that one, and Jose Ramirez doing the damage with an RBI single and a homer, his 20th of the season. Philadelphia leads Detroit 8-1. Bryce Harper has 5 RBIs in this one, including a 3-run homer. That's in the top of the 9th at Detroit. Other games in progress, top of the 8th inning. Seattle leads Tampa Bay 3-1. It is Cincinnati 11, Pittsburgh 5. The Reds scoring 11 runs in the last 3 innings to break that one open in Cincinnati. Top of the 7th in St. Louis, the Cardinals lead the Braves 4-1. Austin Riley with a homer of the Braves trying to get back into that one. And top of the 5th, Dodgers and the White Sox still scoreless in Chicago. Bottom of the 4th, Kansas City now leads Miami 3-1, and Texas on top of Milwaukee 1-0 in the top of the 5th. Blue Jays baseball is brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center. Back to Ben Shulman and Chris LaRue.
Thank you very much, Raj. The Blue Jays going to Tim Meza here to try and finish the 8th inning. A 2-run homer by Wilyer Abreu, by David Hamilton, has made this a much closer game. It's now 6-4, and Devers, who hit a 2-run homer earlier in the game, will go left on left with Tim Meza here, who's trying to send the Blue Jays to the 9th. Bases are empty. It's Meza's 34th appearance of the year, a 5.5 ERA. First pitch is the sinker for strike one, and at least the good velocity to start it. That was about 93.5 out of the left hand of Tim Meza.
Yeah, relatively even splits for Devers. Against lefties, he's 247. Against righties, he's 290. So not a huge difference. But only 2 homers versus lefties.
A 1-pitch hit foul, 94 from Meza, 0-2. These two have faced each other 16 times. 5 for 14 with a walk and a sacrifice fly is Devers against Meza. No balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. The pitch. Slider down and away. Devers lays off. This inning should probably be over, but a pop-up dropped in with 1 out. 1-2 is spiked, 2-2, and that really unraveled this inning after Jarren Duran got aboard on a cheap base hit. The home run came on the next batter. 6-4 Toronto, home half of the 8th. 2 balls, 2 strikes, and 2 outs. Meza comes set, glove at his belt, kicks and fires. Line drive, center field, base hit. Jammed him with a sinker in on the hands at 95, but Devers muscles it out to center, and Tyler O'Neill comes up representing the tying run.
Yeah, that actually wasn't a bad pitch. A fastball right on the hands of Devers, but Devers so strong, just able to muscle it out there in front of Kiermaier out in center field. But you're right, Tyler O'Neill coming to the plate right now.
And for Tim Meza, a lot of the struggles this year as compared to last year have been pitching to righties. Righties have hit .333, 17 for 51 against Meza with 9 extra base hits this year. And O'Neill certainly has his fair share of extra base hits against the Blue Jays. He had 3 homers, including a game-tying homer in the 8th inning against the Blue Jays in last series.
Tyler O'Neill is very dangerous, especially against lefties. Tim Meza has to make good pitches here. I know you don't want to put the tying run on, but you have to make good pitches here.
Pete Walker out to the mound to discuss this matchup. Blue Jays were up 6-2. It's now 6-4. And you mentioned the danger of O'Neill against lefties. He hits .344 against lefties with a 1.202 on base plus slugging. A look at Devers at first in the pitch. Is hit in the air, center field. Charging in, Kiermaier slides, and it's off his forearm down in center. Devers is rounding second, headed to third. O'Neill into second. Nearly a highlight reel play, but instead a base hit for Tyler O'Neill, and the tying run is on second base.
I think he overdove at that baseball, and you're right, it hit him in the forearm.
Tim Meza has had some tough days this year. That's weak contact twice in a row. And for that one, Kiermaier hit him kind of in between, like kind of on the wrist. It's a tough play.
Yeah.
But, you know, he just set such a high standard. It is a play we've seen him make plenty of times. So second and third, and now a single could tie the game. Masataka Yoshida was the scheduled hitter. They pinch hit Rob Refsnyder, a right-handed hitter. Another guy who hits lefties well. He hits lefties at a .330 clip. And the Blue Jays wanted time before the first pitch. They're going to intentionally walk Refsnyder. That gives Toronto a left-on-left matchup again and creates forces at every base. And it forces Tyler Heineman into this high leverage spot. Or pardon me, Dominic Smith will hit in this very high leverage spot.
I don't mind this move here. A lot of people would think, well, now you don't have an open base and you could potentially walk a run in, but you have a 2-run lead. If you had a 1-run lead there, I could understand that argument. But with a 2-run lead, I would rather walk Refsnyder and face Dominic Smith, the left-handed hitter.
They're going to pinch hit for Smith, though, with a right-handed hitter, Romy Gonzalez. And that also gets Meza to the 3-batter minimum with the intentional walk. Zach Pop has been getting loose, and they're going to go to Zach Pop. Meza comes in, allows a pair of hits, then an intentional walk. He comes out with the bases loaded. Blue Jays still up 6-4, and 2 outs in the bottom of the 8th. Brampton, Zach Pop entering the game next. Let's go back to baseball control. Again, here's our host, Roger Lajoie.
And Ben, thanks once again. This out-of-town scoreboard update is brought to you by St. Louis Bar and Grill as we look what's going on in the rest of sports, and in particular, Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Final. 13:29 now to go in the second period. Score still tied 1-1. Verhaeghe scored for Florida in the first. Janmark responded 2 minutes later for Edmonton. Shots 11-10 for Florida. A tight Game 7 tonight in Sunrise. We will have play-by-play action on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and many of these Sportsnet radio network stations after an abbreviated Jays Talk with Blair and Barker right after the game. So stick around for that coming up. Other games around the majors, just one final in the books already. Cleveland beat Baltimore 3-2. Jose Ramirez is their hero there, 20th home run of the season and an RBI single. They're in the bottom of the 9th now in Detroit. Philadelphia all over the Tigers, 8-1. Bryce Harper has been all over the Tigers. 5 RBIs, including a home run for Harper in this one. 3 hits and 3 runs scored as well for him. Aaron Nola with 7 strong innings, allowing just 6 hits in that one. Seattle-Tampa Bay in the bottom of the 8th. Mariners lead that one 3-1. Other games still in progress. Cincinnati leading Pittsburgh 11-5. They're in the bottom of the 7th. St. Louis Cardinals on top of Atlanta 4-1. They are in the bottom of the 7th in St. Louis. Bottom of the 5th in Chicago. Dodgers and the White Sox still scoreless. Pretty good pitchers battle going there. Middle of the 5th in Kansas City. The Royals lead the Marlins 3-1. And Texas leads Milwaukee 2-0. Bottom of the 5th. Blue Jays baseball is brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center. Back to the game now. Ben Schulman and Chris LaRue.
Thank you very much, Raj. A tense Bottom of the 8th inning, 2 runs in for the Red Sox, and now a third pitcher the Blue Jays will use in this 8th inning alone. Nate Pearson started it, gave up 2 runs but got 2 outs. A couple of bloop hits off of Tim Meza, then an intentional walk, and now trying to strand the bases loaded and keep Toronto up 6-4 with 2 outs in the bottom of the 8th. Here comes Zach Pop to face pinch hitter Romy Gonzalez. It's a right-on-right matchup. Brampton Zach Pop making his 25th appearance of the year. The pitch. Swinging a liner, left center field, base hit. In to score Devers. O'Neill around third. He's going to score standing. It's 6-6.
Zach Pop broke Gonzalez's bat, but that sinker needs to be down there. He threw that sinker a little bit elevated, and that gave Gonzalez the chance to elevate that baseball and get it over IKF at shortstop. That's a tough break for the Blue Jays and for Zach Pop.
Toronto once led 6-2. They've given up 5 runs this inning, and it's worth noting they handed away an out. And 2 of these runs now have come with 2 outs. This inning, while there was no error charge, should be over on a pop-up that was hit in between short and third that dropped in. Now it's 6-6, and Tyler Heineman, the switch-hitting catcher, is up, batting left against the righty Pop. Runners on the corners, and the first pitch to Heineman is lifted down the left field line. Foul, 0-1. Fenway Park has been loud all inning. 0-1 pitch is hit on the ground, foul down the first baseline, 0-2. Guerrero, who once sent the Blue Jays to a 4-run lead in this game, flips that ball back toward the first base dugout. First time that Heineman hits today. He's 0 for 2 on the season. This is just his second game. Alejandro Kirk out from the plate, giving some signals to the defense. His first and third steal is put on by the Red Sox. Romy Gonzalez on first. Rob Refsnyder on third. 2 outs. 4 straight have reached for Boston. The 0-2. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. Pop gets him, but the lead is gone. 4 runs scored by the Red Sox in the bottom of the 8th, and it's a new game as we go to the 9th. 6-6 at Fenway Park. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Hear every pick of the NBA Draft on Sirius XM.
His ceiling could be as high as anybody's in this draft.
For 60 players, it's the culmination of a lifetime of work.
Jalen drives right down the middle, throws it down.
And for 30 teams, it's the hope that they've found who's next.
The Boston Celtics select Jason Tatum.
The NBA Draft begins Wednesday night at 8 Eastern and continues Thursday afternoon at 4 on NBA Radio Channel 86 and on the all-new Sirius XM app.
Every night after the final out, the Round Trip Roundup brings you the scores, highlights, and analysis from every game across Major League Baseball, all in less than 30 minutes.
Swung on and missed, strike 3 and a no-hitter.
It's the perfect way to get caught up on all the night's biggest home runs and best performances.
And a high drive, deep right center.
It's the Round Trip Roundup on MLB Network Radio every night on Sirius XM Channel 89 and every morning on the Sirius XM app. Blue Jays fans, your manager, John Schneider, joins MLB Network Radio every other Wednesday at 11 a.m. Eastern.
Hopefully you get a couple guys going at the same time, and we're just looking for consistency. It's been tough, it's been frustrating at times, but also feel good about the progress that certain guys have made and that the progress that we've made in terms of, our prep and our work.
Managers at the mic on MLB Network Radio, Sirius XM 89 and the Sirius XM app.
You want baseball? The doggy has you covered. Tune in to Mad Dog Unleashed for the best baseball coverage anywhere. Weekdays 3 to 6 Eastern. Sirius XM Mad Dog Sports Radio, Channel 82.
Sportsnet Radio Network.
Top of the 9th inning, Blue Jays in Boston, and their 6-2 lead is gone. A 4-run 8th for the Red Sox has made this a tie game at 6-6. And now Toronto will try and snatch the lead back against the Red Sox closer. Kenley Jansen is into the game for Boston, pitching on a third straight day. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. Kirk Kiermaier, Kiner Falefa for the Blue Jays. The tall righty kicks and delivers. First pitch is called strike one at the top of the zone.
Well, Jansen's having another phenomenal season, a 2.39 ERA, 15 saves. I feel like he's been pretty solid for the majority of his career.
0-1. Check swing outside was the pitch, and no peel down to first. He is the active leader in saves in Major League Baseball right now at 435. He and Craig Kimbrell kind of go back and forth, and they're both poised to finish this year in the top 5. All time. 1-1. Swing and a liner. Center field. That's a base hit. Alejandro Kirk with his first hit of the day, and the Blue Jays have the go-ahead run aboard. Quickly, Stuart Baroa out of the dugout. He'll pinch run for Kirk, the Blue Jays' organizational leader in stolen bases this year with 29 at AAA. Baroa also leading the International League upon his call-up. He's a guy who's stolen at least 45 in each of the last 3 minor league seasons. And Jansen, very slow to the plate.
Very slow to the plate, and you have a guy that obviously has incredible speed out there at first base, but is he too amped up in this situation? That's my only concern.
First time on the base pass for Baroa. Debuted yesterday. Kiermaier goes to bunt and bunts through it. Strike one. Tried to pull back, but didn't in time. That looked like much more of a bunt for a base hit than a sacrifice as the bat was put out there late.
I think I roll the dice here and just let Baroa steal. I don't want to waste an out here. Let him steal on this pitch. Get to second base and let Kiermaier swing away.
Baroa leading off first. The 0-1. Runner takes off, and the pitch is bunted foul. It's 0-2.
And Baroa got a pretty good jump. So I think he had that bag. I don't know what Kiermaier was trying to do there, whether that was a straight sack or I don't know. I don't know what he was thinking, especially with Baroa stealing.
Kiermaier showed bunt early, but yeah, I think Baroa has that bag. Instead, he goes back to first. Being held on by new first baseman Romy Gonzalez, who came up with a pinch hit to tie the game. 0-2. Swing and a miss. Strike three. Kiermaier's down for the first out.
Well, now you have to send him here. You have to send him at some point during this at-bat. Get to second base with less than 2 outs. Get into scoring position, especially with Baroa's speed. That was pretty impressive, what I just saw.
Jansen takes a peek at Baroa and comes set. Isaiah Kiner Falefa at the plate. Turn and throw over to first. A very slow move from Jansen. Baroa back in.
You look like a 36-year-old throwing over to first base there.
I mean, typically closers aren't the guys who pay the most attention to base runners anyway. A lot of them heavily focus on the hitter. Tall righty Jansen looking in, kicks and fires. Baroa leaving, and the pitch is fouled back into the netting. 0-1.
I think that was a hit and run. Otherwise, I don't know why IKF would swing at that pitch, but I'm pretty sure that was a hit and run.
We'll see what happens on this pitch. It's 0-1 with 1 out. 6-6 game, top of the 9th. Big lead for Baroa. A long look, and he takes off again on the 0-1. Pitch is high. Throw down to second. They got him. Baroa is looking into the Blue Jays dugout like he thinks he slid around the tag. It was almost like the Red Sox knew it after that many tries. They pitched a fastball up and away, and Heineman bounced it in, but it was a pretty accurate throw. And the Blue Jays are not going to look at that one. Clearly on a replay, Baroa out.
Look, I love the aggressiveness. I probably would have stole there as well, but the only negative that I'm thinking about on that stolen base is he has already tried to steal 3 times before that, so he might be a little bit gassed. Take a pitch off and then try to steal on the next pitch.
Next pitch is outside to Kiner Falefa, who's now ahead in the count, 2 balls, 1 strike. Six game, 2 out, spaces empty, top of the 9th. Kiner Falefa breaks his bat on a bouncing ball to right field. Sliding stop by the second baseman Hamilton. Throws to first and ends the inning. The Blue Jays get a leadoff hit, but Baroa tossed out trying to steal. And now Toronto will try and avoid a walk-off Red Sox win in the bottom of the 9th. It's a 6-6 game. Stick with us. We'll be back in a moment. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Hi, I'm Buck Martinez, live from the showdown between pizza and inflation. First to the plate, with over 2 million sold, it's Fixed Rate Pizza, a hot and fresh extra-large 4-topping pizza for a fixed price of $17.99 until the end of 2024. Here's the delivery. And inflation strikes out. That's a swing and a drive for Fixed Rate Pizza. Lock in yours today.
Order pizza.ca.
We're 2 men and a truck. So, you're moving to a new home, and all that's left to do is to call a mover you know you can trust. Well, naturally, you think 2 men and a truck, since you know they have lots of men and lots of trucks. They'll wrap, pack, and move everything you own. With a 96% referral rating and the professionalism you can trust, the choice is simple. For a free in-home estimate, call today. We're 2 men and a truck.
2 men and a truck, the movers who care.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Marshall smashes the ball to right field. It's gone!
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Welcome back to Baseball Control. I'm Roger Lajoie. Bottom of the 9th inning coming up. The Blue Jays and the Boston Red Sox tied at 6 right after the game. We'll have an abbreviated version of Jays Talk with Blair and Barker. Then we'll go to the Stanley Cup Final. Sam Reinhart has just scored. Florida leads Edmonton 2-1. 3 minutes to go in the second period. We'll keep an eye on that, and we'll see what happens in the bottom of the 9th inning at Fenway Park as the Blue Jays try to hold on. Blue Jay Baseball is brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center. To the bottom of the 9th we go. Ben Schulman and Chris LaRue.
Thank you very much, Raj. The Blue Jays will ask Zach Pop to try to bridge them to extra innings. Second inning of work for Pop, who gave up a hit and then got the last out of the 8th. His pitch to Cedon Rafaela, bunts through it, strike 1. Four runs in the 8th for the Red Sox have this game at 6-6. 0-1. Swing and a miss. Tied him up with a sinker up and in, and it's 0-2. Danny Jansen now catching. Alejandro Kirk had a leadoff single and was replaced by a pinch runner in the 9th, so now they bring in Jansen to catch. Stuart Baroa out of the game. 0-2. Bounced over the mound, charging at second. Horwitz, gloves, pumps, throws to first on a bounce. It was late anyway. Got stuck in his glove. It was a slow hit ground ball, and that'll be an infield single for Rafaela. He's the winning run.
Well, I don't know if Rafaela would have beat that out had Spencer Horwitz come up with that ball cleanly, but yeah, that was about 3 or 4 pumps. I think that if he comes up with that ball cleanly, he throws Rafaela out at first base. That's a tough play right there to lead off this inning.
And now watch for Rafaela to run, who was caught stealing earlier in this game. And he doesn't have to run. That's balked by Zach Pop on the first pitch to Jarren Duran.
Well, John Schneider is coming out to talk to Paul Clemens about what he did wrong, but from my vantage point, Zach Pop very clearly didn't come to a complete stop before he threw that baseball. I mean, he might have, but that was a quick
pretty
run.
Close. So now a single likely wins the game. And it's the top third of the order, starting with the leadoff hitter, Jarren Duran, who's 2 for 4. First pitch to Duran, called strike one. And it's hard not to go back to the 8th inning when Duran popped up a ball kind of over third, in between third and short, and there was a miscommunication between Barger and Kiner Falefa. It dropped in for a double. At that point, it was 6-2. The next batter, Abreu, hit a 2-run homer. 0-1 pitch outside, 1-1. Red Sox would score 2 more in that inning, and that's why it's 6-6 right now, bottom of the 9th.
And Chad Green is actually warming up in the Blue Jays bullpen right now. You have to think about bringing in a pitcher right now that's a strikeout pitcher, a guy that can get swings and misses. Zach Pop is not that guy. He's a ground ball pitcher.
1-1 pitch is high, 2-1. Blue Jays have lost 6 in a row, trying to avoid 7 in a row for the first time since September of 2019, when Guerrero, Bassitt were rookies. The 2-1. Hit on the ground through the whole right side of base hit. Around third and coming to the plate, Rafaela. The throw from Springer bounces in late. The Red Sox win 7-6 on a walk-off single by Jarren Duran. The Blue Jays have lost 7 in a row.
Well, the Blue Jays were up 6-2 earlier on in this ball game, and they basically just handed it to the Red Sox. This is a tough loss if you're a Toronto Blue Jays fan. If you're in that dugout, you could see Justin Turner kind of staring off at the celebrations by the Red Sox on the field, but the Blue Jays should have won this ball game.
Toronto led 6-2 going into the 9th. They lose 7-6. We'll wrap it up on the other side and get you over to Blue Jays Talk with Blair and Barker. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
At Crown Rust Control Center, protection runs deep because every Crown Rust Control Center is owned by a local family who cares beyond business. Your Crown Rust Control Center is 100% committed to their product, to you, to their community, which is your community. Protecting you and what matters to you is equally important as protecting your vehicle. Did you know your vehicle rusts faster in warm weather? Protect your vehicle today. For a special summer offer, find your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center at crown.com.
Not tomorrow, not someday. The home improvements begin today. It's game on with Timber Mart. Build that deck, raise that fence, landscape till your property is beautiful. Don't pay for 12 months on the Timber Mart Deferred Payment Program. Your locally owned, completely Canadian hub of building and renovation expertise. Get your Timber Mart credit card at participating locations and pay later. 12 months later. Conditions apply. Ask in store for details or apply at timbermart.ca.
Hey, this is Tim Meza. You're listening to Toronto Blue Jays Baseball on the Sportsnet Radio Network.
The Red Sox come back scoring 5 runs in the 8th and 9th and beat the Blue Jays 7-6 to sink the Blue Jays to a 7-game losing streak, their longest since 2019. Appreciate you sticking around. We'll get you to Blair and Barker in just a moment. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. And Chris, they're going to discuss a lot about this game on Blair and Barker, but the Blue Jays hand a 6-2 lead to their bullpen going into the 8th inning, and the bullpen records only 3 outs, allowing 5 total runs in the game.
Well, there were a lot of things when the bullpen came into this ball game that went wrong, but I think the initial thing was that pop-up that Addison Barger didn't catch. That is the glaring issue with this ball game, because when a guy gets on second base, and whether, like I said, whether you have a 4-run lead or a 1-run lead, the game starts to speed up for Nate Pearson, and he left that fastball over the plate, and it was game over from there.
After the Duran pop-up dropped in for a double, a 2-run shot by David Hamilton. Pearson would get another out. 2 outs in the 8th inning. They brought in Tim Meza. He did not record an out, gave up 2 hits, albeit 2 soft hits, but 2 dropped in, and then intentional walk to load the bases. Zach Pop came in, and the first pitch he threw was hit for a 2-run single by pinch hitter Romy Gonzalez to tie the game. Pop would finish the 8th inning with a strikeout. Blue Jays got a leadoff hit in the 9th, but Stuart Baroa a couple times tried to steal, but pitches were fouled off or bunted foul. Then when he finally did get a chance to go, caught stealing, and then just 2 batters come up in the bottom of the 9th. Infield single by Rafaela, advances to second on a balk. Jarren Duran walks it off. 7-6, the final score. The Red Sox beat the Blue Jays. Toronto now 35-43 on the season. The Red Sox 43-36. 6 hits for the Blue Jays, 6 runs on 9 hits. 1 error, 4 left on, 7 runs on 11 hits, 2 errors, 5 left on for the Red Sox. A win for Kenley Jansen, he's 3-1. A loss for Zach Pop, he's 0-2. A 2-hour, 37-minute affair in front of just under 36,000 at Fenway Park. The Blue Jays will try to snap the losing streak tomorrow. They have another game against the Red Sox at 7:10. Kevin Gausman against Brian Bayo, and we will have game coverage starting at 7 o'clock. Thanks so much for tuning in tonight to this edition of Blue Jays Baseball. For our technical director, Tom Young, our producer, Nick Blackmore, our host, Roger Lajoie, and my partner, Chris LaRue. I hope you have a good night. I'm Ben Schulman, and get your thoughts heard right now on what should be an emphatic Jays talk, to say the least. Blue Jays talk with Blair and Barker starts right now.
All right, Kevin Barker. What the hell did I just see?
It's bad baseball, buddy. That's what you saw.
Brutal baseball. The Blue Jays, 7-6 losers to the Boston Red Sox. They carried a 6-2 lead into the 8th inning. And, well, Kevin, look, we've talked a lot about how this team has a lot of offensive issues focused mainly on its main players. Okay, we'll leave Vladdy aside for now. But, so the Jays basically have they've made a pact with the devil. They've made a pact with the baseball devil. They brought up a couple of guys from the minors, one of whom, Spencer Horwitz, is helping them offensively. But Spencer Horwitz and Addison Barger, let's be clear, they're still works in progress defensively. We saw an error, a misplay tonight. Misplay in that 8th inning, and then, of course, an error, misplay in the 8th inning and a misplay in the 9th inning on, admittedly, a bouncer off the bat of a fast base runner. But, Kevin, it goes back to the 8th inning. I thought John Schneider kind of played it the way he wanted to play it after a couple of those soft contact fell in. He got the matchup he wanted. Zach Pop throws the first pitch to Rami Gonzalez. It's a 2-run single. The game's tied, and then, of course, the Red Sox win it in the 9th. A bunch of guys who weren't good enough, basically, contributed to that.
Yeah, I think the misplays in the infield, there's no excuse for it. Look, again, we understand why, right? They're searching for anything they can search for just because the offense, quite frankly, up until this point hasn't been good enough. So you're trying to, when you do call guys up, fill in the blanks. And if you have to put them on the defensive side where you don't really feel comfortable putting them there, you have to do what you have to do. I mean, Barger's an outfielder, right? Why can't you catch a pop-up? I mean, the Horowitz play, because it's a fast runner, right? You got to catch the ball first. And you don't peek. When you peek, you notice the runner, you sort of fumble the baseball. Again, speed kills, Jeff. This is sort of why these teams, these decent teams, the Red Sox not a great team. They're a decent team, but they got a bunch of young guys who are hungry, and they're running everything out, right? And when you got fast dudes who are putting pressure on guys who are playing out of position, this is exactly what happens. And then you got a couple of guys coming out of that pen are, quite frankly, not executing pitches, right? It's sort of a trickle-down effect. Dude's not making plays. Execution's not made. When that happens, when you're right now not a very good team, you lose a baseball game. That's exactly what happens. It's a shame. Bassitt was really good. He wiggled out of that 7th inning. Other than that back-to-back curveball that he threw one of them good to Devers. He threw the other ones basically right down the middle. Devers got his tongue hanging out trying to hit that thing to the moon. That's exactly what happened. But other than that, man, could you say anything better about Bassitt? And finally, the first baseman finally hit a ball to the moon. You would think the sort of the bad things were over, and then all of a sudden the 8th and 9th inning hit, and here we go again.
And listen, I thought in that inning, Vladdy hits the home run. You saw the hit and run that keeps the double play at bay. John Schneider's lineup. I thought John Schneider's
thought John Schneider had a pretty good game up until the 8th inning. I mean, it's not, again, he's going with the bullpen that he has. This organization, we've talked about this. I don't know what they're seeing, but they seem to have an inordinate amount of faith in this same guys that haven't gotten it done for them this year. They seem to want to stick with them. There's frankly not much John Schneider can do in that particular situation, I don't think. But you're right, a couple of plays not made. Even Kevin Kiermaier, I mean, we've seen him make that play 9 out of 10 times.
Yeah, but when you leave your feet like that, Jeff, and you're sprawled out as the way he was, you can't argue. I mean, he did everything right except catch the baseball. Like, yeah. How can you, when a baseball player's doing the things he tried to do to catch it, he just didn't catch it. So that's a hard one to throw your hands in the air. But the play not made at third and the play not made at second, and then just the lack of execution. Right, you want a ball away, get it away. This is almost the end of June. Like, these dudes have been around in the big leagues long enough and mechanically sound enough, you would think, to be able to execute pitches late in games, and it's just not happening. And again, when hot teams, confident teams get good pitches to hit, most of the time they don't miss them, and that's how you lose. It's called losing, Jeff.
Let's talk about the top of the 9th inning as well, Kevin. I mean, I don't know what I saw. I'm happy. I mean, Alejandro Kirk, it's a leadoff single. You bring in your organizational leader in stolen bases. I'm sitting there screaming, why are you bunting with the organizational leader in stolen bases? Let him steal a base, for God's sake. And then, of course, he gets caught. He gets caught stealing.
Yeah, I mean, he had went.
John Schneider knew what he was doing there, but again,
he had went so many times, right? I talked about that calibration. This is sort of Kenley Jansen had seen him go enough times where he was holding the baseball longer, right? He'd get it signed quicker. He was holding it. He was making the kid stand over there, right? I mean, he went so many times that they tried to figure out how to just sort of throw off the rhythm and the timing of his jump, and it worked, right? I mean, it took a perfect throw to get him. It took a better scoop by the shortstop to get him. It took a really good tag to get him. Like, everything worked out probably the way, the Blue Jays didn't want it to work out. And again, this is what right now a hot team and the Red Sox are sort of doing, right? They are playing to the situation, and you give them enough time to figure out how to get a dude out. Sooner or later, they're going to get that guy out. And I have no idea what Kiermaier was doing. Like, I have no idea. Like, I have no idea.
I have no clue either.
None.
I mean, that can't
let him steal and bunt him to third. That's what you do.
Put on, can it?
I mean, he kept looking down there like it was. I have no idea. Like, you would think after the best jump that he got, the time that he actually looked to me like he'd stolen the base, and the ball was not even close, and it was an elevated ball. That's a very hard ball to bunt. It was already you already had a strike on you. You would just think Kevin's been around long enough. I mean, he's hitting the 9-hole long enough. He understands what he needs to do. Like, it just. Again, sort of sometimes when you're going the way the Blue Jays are going, you just can't really do anything right. I mean, that's basically the way the 8th and the 9th inning went.
But look, this gets back to the construction of this roster right now, too, though. Really, you've got Spencer Horowitz's best position is probably DH. You've got him playing second base. You've got Kevin Kiermaier. I mean, God bless Kevin Kiermaier, but right now he is at best a fourth outfielder, a defensive substitution on a good team. He's giving you nothing offensively. And, Addison Barger at third base. I mean, again, the organization likes to trumpet their versatility and moving guys around. Sweet Jesus, just give me somebody who can play one position. I don't even care if he plays it really well. Just give me a guy that can play one position.
Yeah, look, I think it's more of, again, when you're not hitting and you're not helping out a rotation, you have to try and fill in the blanks with the best you can fill in the blanks with. And, this is sort of what the outcome looks like. I just don't know how it gets better. Like, again, when Bo gets back tomorrow, I think the IKF will be playing third. That'll help out a lot. Mm-hmm. Maybe you can, not play the Bargers of the world, and, maybe you put Schneider at second base. You put somebody else in left. Like, when Varsho gets back, like, you could have your defense sort of lined up the way you want it to be lined up. just today, man, this is tough. Like, these are losses, Jeff. This is how people get fired. Like, this is the big leagues, man. This ain't the minor leagues. I mean, it's one thing to lose. It's one thing to lose 6 in a row. It's another thing to lose a game like this.
Yes.
And these games, you know well as anybody. You've been around forever. You've seen guys get fired like this. Like, this is how organizations start to change, just because the optics of the way they're starting to lose. So,
this team, I got to tell you, this team reminds me very much of the Blue Jays when John Gibbons was fired the first time. Very much. When John Gibbons was fired the first time, they had some back then. They had some sloppy plays in the outfield. This is a thing that is really getting to me right now. Is you want to believe in what you're seeing out of Spencer Horwitz offensively. Davis Schneider, let's face it, has come back down to earth. But I really get the sense, as I said, that this is a lineup other than Vladdy and maybe IKF tonight. I don't know if there's an everyday player in that lineup.
Well, I like Turner. Turner's at-bats are getting a little bit better. Those are kind of nice. I mean, a
DH, fine. Yeah, but other than that, I don't know. I don't think there's an everyday position player in that lineup.
It's a lot to ask. I mean, it's not the kids' fault. Like, again, they're trying to.
No, it's not. Nobody's blaming the kids, and we know where the blame lies. The blame lies on the construction of the team. I mean, that's where the blame lies.
Yeah, it's just again, at the big league level, when everything's working a little faster, and you're trying to play out of position, and you're thinking about late in games, please don't let the ball be hit to me, especially with these dudes that are running all over the place, and they can run like deer, and then you just have to make every play perfectly. Like, it's just, Jeff, again, it's a lot to ask a first baseman to play second in Fenway Park against a bunch of guys who are playing that way. Now, again, the pop-up at third base, there's no excuse for that. I mean, Barger's an outfielder. He should catch that thing 11 out of 10 times. But, again, it gets back to that sort of play out of position. You don't want to hog the ball from the shortstop like there's a communication factor. So, yeah, this is what losing looks like.
You might have heard that there's a hockey game on tonight. It is 2-1 for the Florida Panthers. We're in the second intermission. We're going to carry you right up to the end of the second intermission, or just before the end of the second mission. Then we'll pass it over to the NHL Network, so you will be able to hear the third period of Game 7 tonight. Again, the Florida Panthers leading 2-1. We're going to take a break, hear from the skipper, and wrap this up. It's Blue Jays Talk with Blair and Barker on the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Our core values: equality, respect, the pursuit of greatness. Through and through, this is who we are.
Be at the ballpark to experience a proud tradition. Canada Day, Monday, July 1st. The first 15,000 fans will receive a Blue Jays Canadian tuxedo hat giveaway. For tickets, visit BlueJays.com.
Proud to the core. Canadian to the core. Blue Jays to the core.
At Crown Rust Control, protection runs deep because every Crown Rust Control Center is owned by a local family who cares beyond business. Your Crown Rust Control is 100% committed to their product, to you, to their community, which is your community. Protecting you and what matters to you is equally important as protecting your vehicle.
Did you know your vehicle rusts faster in warm weather? Protect your vehicle today. For a special summer offer, find your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center at crown.com.
Hi, I'm Buck Martinez, live from the showdown between Pizza and inflation. First to the plate, Pizza's big hitter, fixed rate pizza. An extra large 4-topping pizza for a fixed price of $17.99 until the end of 2024. I dare say, folks, inflation stands no chance against this all-star. Here's the delivery. And inflation strikes out. That's a swing and a drive for fixed rate pizza. Lock in yours today.
Order pizza.ca.
Bring it in, Canada. When it comes to small business, Desjardins is a big fan. And not just the hop-on-the-bandwagon fan. We're the in-it-for-the-long-haul fan. The fan that's been there from the start. That's why Desjardins awarded 150 entrepreneurs with Good Spark grants worth $20,000 each. Because like any fan, there's nothing we love more than celebrating a goal!
See how Desjardins is cheering on small business at goodsparkgrants.ca.
We're two men in a truck, the movers who care. You never know when cardiac arrest can happen. That's why each and every one of our trucks carries a life-saving Mikey defibrillator as part of our Mikey on Board program. Whether we're on the highway or in front of your house, we're prepared to help anyone whose heart may skip a beat. The Mikey Network has saved many lives, making Mikey's accessible to the public. And now they're on board our trucks. We're 2 men in a truck.
2 men and a truck, the movers who care.
Not tomorrow, not someday. The home improvements begin today. It's game on with Timber Mart. Build that deck, raise that fence, landscape till your property is beautiful. Don't pay for 12 months on the Timber Mart deferred payment program. Your locally owned, completely Canadian hub of building and renovation expertise. Get your Timber Mart credit card at participating locations and pay later. 12 months later. Conditions apply. Ask in store for details or apply at timbermart.ca.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Fastball painted at the bottom of the zone, and that's back-to-back strikeouts.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Nah, you got to move on. There's definitely some positives, but when you're in a rut like this, a stretch like this, as much as it sucks right now, it'll suck until midnight tonight, and then you try to get over it. You got Kev on the mound tomorrow, and you got to keep going. This game's cruel. You know what I mean? This game can really beat you up, punch you. Again, I think over the course of the last week, and I said it yesterday, I said it in Cleveland, the guys are going about it the right way. They're not quitting, and they are out there competing. Today, a few mistakes get magnified, and this is a really tough place to record the last 3 outs in the 9th inning, and you got to move on to more.
That is John Schneider, manager of the Toronto Blue Jays, speaking after a 7-6 loss to the Blue Jays. To the Red Sox. 7-6 loss to the Jays.
Yeah, you can say
loss to the Red Sox.
Jeff, you can say what you want about John Schneider. It's rare that he throws his team under the bus. I mean, he could very easily come on there and say, this is the freaking big leagues, catch the ball at third and make the play at second and execute a pitch every once in a while. It's a 4-run lead going into the 8th inning. I mean, give him credit. Like he is, say what you want, think what you want of John Schneider. If you're the 26 dudes in that locker room, I'm not real sure how you could walk up to John and go, why are you saying that, bud? Like, man, give him kudos. Like, consistently he's had their back, and I'm sure that hasn't been the easiest thing to do.
No, if you're looking at your Blue Jays bingo card and you had a balk, 2 defensive errors, misplays, a 2-run home run, caught stealing, and some questionable at-bats in the 8th and 9th inning. Congratulations. You had a winning Blue Jays bingo card. If you had Vladdy hitting the longest home run in his career, well, congratulations there, too. A little extra for you. 7-6, the Blue Jays losing to the Boston Red Sox. 7 in a row. Mr. Barker's Blue Jays have lost. I do believe you have to go back to 2019 to find the last time the Jays lost 7 in a row. And, they've got 2 more games against the Red Sox, who currently hold down the final wild card position. And it's been rare that the Blue Jays have been eliminated before the end of NHL season, but
getting closer.
It certainly is. Bo Bichette's scheduled to come back tomorrow, Kevin. How do you see the Blue Jays playing this? Not so much in terms of who goes down, but in terms of the lineup.
Like,
in terms of the lineup.
See it or how I would do it?
Well, how would you do it with Bo coming back? How would you set up the lineup?
I'm hitting Bo second and third, and everybody else I could care less. How's that? That's what it just seems to me like Bo's at bats are better in the 2-hole. Bo's not a run producer. Like, don't force him into being one. He ain't that. Mm-hmm. He's just not. Let him be Bo. Bo is better in the 2-hole. Like, put him in the 2-hole, leave Vladdy in the 3-hole, and then whatever you want to do everywhere else, who cares? Like, if you want to hit Turner or Varsho when he comes back, or Horowitz leading off, or IKF.
No, you know what I like,
dude?
I was going to say I like platooning IKF and Horowitz at the top of the order.
Why not?
And then going with Bo and Vladdy, and then whoever the hell's left.
Yeah,
as long as George Springer can hit 14th in the someplace.
Man, you see them at bats? Holy. I'm not I'm not moving Bo around. I'm not putting him in the 2-hole and the next day putting him in the cleanup spot. I'm treating him just like Vladdy. I'm going to put him in a spot, leave him, and we're going to ride this thing out. I'm going to call them two in the office and say, you two are we're either going to live with you or we're going to die with you. Go get them, boys. How about that?
What are you making of Vladdy's at-bats lately? He has hit, considering we've been crying and praying for home runs from Vladdy, we are seeing some home runs from Vladdy.
Yeah.
What are you seeing? Today looked like a Vladdy swing.
Yeah. I think it's
got the finish.
I think it's on time. I thought it was free and easy. I thought one at bat set up the other one. I've said this for a bazillion years. If you want to educate guests, hit the hater. Hit the hater, your next bat, go up and look for a sweeper. You get the sweeper up, you hit that thing to Jupiter. That's how you educate guests. You don't do it how he's been doing it. I said this and I'll continue to say it. He forces fastballs on the plate because he has more talent than most humans that hold a bat. He will have success. If he chases, he'll be peaks and valleys, and we'll want to pull our hair out and asking what the heck's going on and why you're rolling over to third. Continue to do these things. This is what I said. Again, they go into the season saying the core. The two dudes at the core. Get Bo back tomorrow. Have a little confidence in him. Put him in the 2-hole. Hopefully him and Vladdy feed off of each other. And if anything, maybe you just have fun watching them two just destroy baseballs. If they lose, they lose. At least you're sort of, having faith in your two dudes. And hopefully they do that. Will they do that? Probably not. But hopefully they do that.
Well,
because they're going to overthink it. Well, they'll overthink it, Jeff.
Of course they're going to overthink it. Of course they're going to. Bo could end up leading off or hitting fourth tomorrow.
There you go.
I wouldn't know. Nothing. Honest to God, nothing would surprise me. I'm sure the laptops are working away as we speak, trying to come up with the correct lineup for tomorrow's game. 7-6, the Blue Jays. They get walked off by the Boston Red Sox. That, my friends, is 7 losses in a row. Second game of the 3-game series goes tomorrow night. A reminder, Blair and Barker from 4 to 6 Eastern on Sportsnet 590 The Fan tomorrow. We will, of course, go more in depth on tonight's loss and maybe get more, have a better idea of how the lineup will shape up with Bo Bichette coming back. Thank you for listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by the local family-owned Crown Rust Control Centers in Comber and Stony Creek. Protect your vehicle from rust today. Find your local family-owned Crown at crown.com, Canada's #1 rust protection. Stay tuned for Game 7 right here on the Sportsnet Radio Network.
This has been Major League Baseball play-by-play on SiriusXM and the SiriusXM app. Why do I love calling this game?
Calling this game.
Why do I love calling this game? It's because I get a chance to bring some joy into people's lives.
Anything can happen on a baseball field.
We've got a new game. It's perfectly unscripted theater.
Everybody on their feet.
Because you never know what you're going to see on a given day.
It is bedlam at the bank as Bryce Harper has put the Phillies on top. There's just something about baseball on the radio.
Something about the way wood hits leather.
A swing and a drive to deep left center.
The way leather hits dirt.
And he made the play. Oh, my.
The way a deep fly ball sounds like it's about to change history.
High fly ball to center field. It's hit pretty well toward the wall.
Until the cleats hit the grass, hit the crushed brick, and then nothing but sky and a silent crowd.
That ball's high.
Until leather hits leather and 40,000 fans lose their collective minds.
In a perfect symphony of chaos.
He jumped up on top of the wall, balanced himself, and caught it.
The way nothing triumphs a perfectly honest call.
I don't believe what I just saw.
And the way the right voice can make a moment live forever.
Touch 'em all, Joe. You'll never hit a bigger home run in your life. Outsiders may think this is just two teams.
A ball, a bat, and a microphone, but no.
For over 100 years, this has been the soundtrack of the American pastime.
He struck it out looking. It's over. It's over. The Rangers have won the World Series.
The soundtrack of summer. This is Major League Baseball on the radio.
Right now on SiriusXM.
All rise.
Coming in 5.
Get ready to play.
4.
Get up. Get up. 3.
Can you believe it? Put your seatbelt on. Wow. Talk about the game and all the stories on MLB Network Radio, Sirius XM 89, and the Sirius XM app.
And Gomes on Monday, he said to me, because I didn't know if they were going to try to go get a shortstop, just a stopgap like Paul DeJong, who's got 13 home runs for the White Sox. And he said, no plans on that. He said, Rojas is going to play short, Kike's going to play some. Okay, well, if that's the case, that's one more spot in your lineup. Now it's 4 guys that can hit and 5 guys that can't. Right. And that doesn't mean Gavin Lux won't get better. That doesn't mean Andy Pages can't be more consistent. I get all of that. But there is no doubt, like the Phillies, they're out there trying to find an outfielder. And so the Dodgers farm system is still really deep. They really have a lot to trade. And it's not going to be that hard for them. The problem they're going to have is there's just not a lot of outfielders available.
MLB Network Radio is your home for 24/7 baseball talk, featuring on-site coverage of every major event from spring training through the World Series and expert analysis from former general managers and players. Sirius XM, Channel 89.
I'm Frank Trachtenberg with your Sirius XM MLB schedule for Monday, June the 24th. All times are Eastern, and please remember, all games, times, and channels are subject to change. Check SiriusXM.com for the latest updates. In Major League Baseball, 6:35 p.m., Baltimore Orioles taking the Cleveland Guardians. Orioles on Sirius 208, XM 175, and Internet 842. Guardians on Internet 847. 6:40 p.m., Detroit Tigers taking the Philadelphia Phillies. Tigers on Sirius 209, XM 176, and Internet 849. Phillies on Internet 860. 6:50 p.m., Tampa Bay Rays taking the Seattle Mariners. Rays on Sirius 210, XM 177, and Internet 866. Mariners on Internet 864. 7:10 p.m., Boston Red Sox taking the Toronto Blue Jays. Red Sox on Sirius 211, XM 178, and Internet 843. Blue Jays on Internet 868. 7:10 p.m., Cincinnati Reds taking the Pittsburgh Pirates. Reds on Sirius 106, XM 179, and Internet 846. Pirates on Internet 861. 7:45 p.m., St. Louis Cardinals take on the Atlanta Braves. Cardinals on Sirius and XM channels 89, Internet 865. Braves on Internet 841. 8:10 p.m., Kansas City Royals taking the Miami Marlins. Royals on Sirius 138, XM 182, and Internet 851. Marlins on Internet 854. 8:10 p.m., Chicago White Sox face the LA Dodgers. White Sox on Sirius 119, XM 180, and Internet 845. Dodgers on Internet 853. Spanish Feed on Sirius 137.